Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular meeting Wednesday, December 3rd. We do have a pretty lengthy agenda this morning, so we're going to get started. If you would, let's please stand and do the prayer and pledge. Father, we thank you today for this day you've given to each and every one of us. We pray, Lord, that your blessing, that your encouragement be with us today. Father, we thank you for this good day that each and every one of us have. Pray, Lord, that you be with us in our discussions, our deliberations today. God, help us to make the very best decisions for today and tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Barone, is there anything that needs to be added to this agenda?
Good morning,
Before we
Commissioners.
approve it?
Mr. Chairman, no, sir, nothing new
Okay.
I was informed of, so.
All right, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it's been published.
So moved. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom. That motion has been seconded by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion, Commissioners?
I have one item. Michael, are you going to bring up Mr. John Berry and the TAC committee?
He actually has filled out a speaker card, and so he's going to bring it up himself and ask
Okay.
the board to, and then we can take action. If not this week, next meeting for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, well, I'll discuss it when we
Okay.
comes up.
All right, any other discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, up next, we're paying the county's bills and approving minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It has been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, now we're going to public comments. Mr. Barry is on the top. He was during public comment, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right, go ahead. Unmute Mr. Barry, please.
Find him, there he is. And he's unmuted, sir.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Short night, I know. Yes, this John Berry, 1389 Alligator Drive, Alligator Point, Florida. I've been appointed originally to the TAC, which is the Technical Advisory Committee for Franklin County of the ARPC. And basically, it's to help determine what projects are going to get funded, what are priorities, and to push forward. When I signed up for this, you had no one available on staff to take that role. And it's a very key role because the TAC committee is basically a group of counties that act like one consolidated metropolitan planning organization. And the state set that up so that small counties combined together would have the ability to push their own agenda in concert with each other to the DOT and get the funding accordingly. It's a very good committee in that you do get to exchange a lot of ideas, and you have to work with each of the counties involved, especially those that are contiguous to you. And since we have hired, the county has hired Bree as the county planner, I think it's more appropriate for her to take that position and let me step back because the people on this committee are basically the planners and the shakers and movers of the road system in the different counties. And I think that relationship, and with her knowing the comp plan and so forth and so on, that I should step aside and let her take that position. I appreciate the time, and thank you very much.
Mr. Berry, we appreciate your time. As you have said here this morning, I know this is public comments, but the nature of what you're speaking about, I believe I need to say some things to you. It was very important for us to try to get this off the ground. So what he's talking about, to make sure everybody's aware of, Franklin County has never been a part of anybody's regional transportation plan. They had one decades ago that was from Panama City. Bay County has since bowed out of that and kind of said, we're not going to lead that charge anymore. So all of us in between Tallahassee and Panama City were kind of just free spinning. You want to know why they're getting all those roads paved in Wakulla? It's because they're part of CRTPO, the Capital Regional Transportation Planning Agency. That's why they're getting it done. Those dollars are being funneled through that organization because yes, it adds another layer, but it also lets DOT know that it's actually the will of those counties involved, not just, they're coming up with a plan or doing whatever. I've said that to say this. It was very important we were trying to start it under the ARPC so that us, Gulf, Calhoun, Liberty, and Jackson County could have transportation planning. Mr. John, what you have done, getting us this far, does not go unnoticed. We needed to have a seat at the table. Franklin County always needs a seat at the table. I'll always advocate for that. Thank you for doing that on behalf of the residents and the citizens of Franklin County.
Thank you, Mr. John. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it. And
Thank you all for the opportunity.
I thought he would be the best one, and that proved that he was, because he's got a background with the Department of Transportation.
Yes.
So it was, and thank you so much for doing that.
Just to let the board know that Mary O'Brien Bree just told me Mary is coming down from ARPC to meet with Bree on Friday to discuss her role on this particular board.
Good.
They'll be meeting over at Bree's office on Friday.
Good. All right. Ms. Gale? Okay. All right, so the only other one I have here is James Barrett, but I think that has to do with our
P&Z.
P&Z
Yes,
stuff.
I've
So he won't
verified.
be available for that.
Yes, sir, I verified with Bree. He is the agent of record on those 5 items that he mentioned in his request to speak.
Right. All right. Sorry, I'm not trying to delay us. I'm trying to get back into my email. It's kicked me out and has to be authenticated.
There we go. Good old Microsoft.
Yeah, just works so great. Where were we? All right, so that's it for public comment then at this time. That's all the cards I had, at least, Michael.
Yes, sir.
There was, I can't pull up my email.
Oh.
There was nothing on Howard's report, was there?
No.
Okay. Or Fonda's. What about Miss Daniels?
No.
Yep.
You clear all the way down to Whitney.
To Whitney? All right. So for Mr. Neighbors, Mr. Davis, Ms. Daniels, Mr. Polis, if you have, commissioners have something you need to speak with them about, please do so. They did not have anything but informational items in their report. That brings us up to Mr. Eric Lovestrand, who's in the building. Sir, please come forward.
Yes, this may be the last time you get a report from Eric. So the board had asked him to appear before you at this
Yes.
meeting.
I did not have anything, well, good morning, Commissioners. Didn't have anything in addition to my written report. Sorry that got to you a little bit late, but
That's fine.
Michael asked me to come. He thought you might want to see my face in person one more time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Eric, how long have you been with the IFAS Extension Office?
About 11 years, very,
Yeah.
very late career change for me. I worked
Yeah.
with DEP for 23 years at the Estuarine Research Reserve
Yeah.
prior to that, and
Yeah.
5 years prior to that with, used to be called the Game and Fish Commission.
Yeah, okay.
So 39 years with the state.
Yeah. Well, I knew it had been before I was on the board. I've been doing this now my 9th year. I knew it was longer than that, but I just didn't know. That's why I asked. But we do, I thank you for, there's an IFAS office in every county in the state of Florida.
That's true, yes.
Every county. So, and y'all do really important work. It might not always be something that's flashier on the front line, but y'all do important work on behalf of every county in the state. And I wanted to take the time to appreciate you for being a part of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's been a very good last stint for me here, working with the county and with the Extension Service. Got to meet a lot of people, doing a lot of field visits, being out there. So I appreciate the opportunity that I've had here in this location very much.
Well, it might have been a late change for you, but it worked out good for Franklin County.
Me as well. It really did. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, as I stated earlier, Director Luckstrand, I appreciate your service to the state of Florida and to Franklin County.
Thank you.
And I know I may have not called upon you a whole bunch, but when I did call, you answered, or you have met with me. So thank you.
That was my job.
And enjoy your retirement in a couple months.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Now, the procedure, typically, they will appoint an interim person that will be in one of the surrounding counties close by probably to fill into this position. We'll still have Michelle as the office manager there that can be reached during her normal working hours. And the process has already begun for replacing my position. They've posted that position and they are collecting applicant information right now. And usually it's open for about a 2-week period, and I think that may be getting close to closing because it's been a little while since they posted it. And then they'll go through the standard search committee that the university uses to select an applicant to provide to the board or present to the board. If you have any questions, I will be in paid status until February 3, actually, but using leave during January, but reachable. So you guys can call me anytime if you need to.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Eric, for your service to our county. It's greatly appreciated.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Enjoy your retirement.
I plan to.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, but enjoy it.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I keep stepping on.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to tell you thank you, and to echo what the chairman said. It hadn't went unnoticed. I mean, I've been in several meetings, and every now and then I'll see you. And then every time I look up, either if you're not there in the room, I'll see you on a Zoom, either here, there, everywhere. And I appreciate what you've done, and also enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Some of us never get there, but
in smaller counties, you end up on a lot of different committees and groups and boards.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Because I think it's very fitting that we do. Thank you for all you did to help us get that bay open back up. I know you were intricate part of it, to start out with, and all the committees and stuff like this. And so thank you for that. Because as of January 1, that bay is opening back up.
Yes, ma'am.
So it just gives me chills all over. I'm so happy. But may not be like we want it, but at
Right.
least it's open.
Start.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I got one more thing. Mr. Director Lovestrand, when I asked you about like the interim process and who's going to come over here privately, I did ask you about the selection. Since you kind of somewhat familiar with it, can you publicly tell us like some of the qualifications that they're looking for, or like requirements
Sure.
or degree?
Yeah. The positions typically require a master's degree level academically, and committees are looking for people who have some extension or significant amount of extension work in their career for a county extension director position. I was fortunate in that I hadn't worked with the Extension Service before, but all of my career has been outreach and education kind of work with the public. So that was a really good fit and crossover for an extension type position. They'll also be looking for somebody with managerial experience and budget experience and supervisory experience, because those are all key for an extension director's position.
Thank you.
Those are the basic qualifications. And then there are a lot of other preferred ones, but those are going to be required.
you think before you go, we can figure out what's killing the citrus trees? Just
I know what's killing a lot of them. Yeah, it's a disease that we discovered in the county in 2016. Not long after I came, I found trees in Carabel that looked eerily similar to ones that I had seen down in Central Florida, where I'd spent a lot of time with family down there. And it is a disease called, I can't pronounce the Chinese name, but it's actually called citrus greening disease. And once a tree gets it, there's no cure at this point, although there are some really promising things going on through different universities around the country, because it's an issue wherever they grow citrus. And it has devastated the citrus industry in South and Central America, Brazil in particular. It got into Florida many, many years ago, but they didn't think it would get up here because it's transmitted by a tiny little bug called the citrus psyllid, and they didn't think that animal could survive in our area, but they have and they do. And I started collecting specimens shortly after we diagnosed the disease in those trees in Carabel, and caught many of the psyllids here easily. So it's here, and it's gonna be here. They are coming up with resistant varieties of trees. That tends to be one approach that's taken, but they have come up with some treatments that actually are sprayed on trees, and in laboratory settings and tests in greenhouses, they've had some really good results with some of that. So those products will make their way to the public market eventually. So hopefully they're going to come up with something that will change the game for citrus. Yeah, but all citrus cultivars are susceptible. None of them are immune to it. Sorry for that long.
No, you're good.
Wonderful.
I've given that spiel to hundreds of people.
I wish my dad would have been a little patient. He put the chainsaw to them, so.
Yeah, well, once they start declining, the fruit quality goes downhill, the canopy starts to die out, and the tree dies eventually.
Citrus is still important in Florida, so thanks.
Oh, it
for that.
is, yeah.
It is.
Well, Georgia's trying to take it from us.
Yeah.
I mean.
And here in North Florida, they're growing a lot of the cold hardy mandarin varieties too. If you go towards Perry, you see a lot of satsuma trees over that way. And Jackson County has quite a few acres now in cold hardy citrus.
Well,
Mr. Eric, thank you. We appreciate you.
And you folks
Thank
are
you for
welcome.
being
Thank
here
you for
today.
everything too.
Chairman, before you,
Yes.
sorry, before you move on to Whitney, I got the newest numbers from John Creamer. 137 commercial, 158 recreational as of this morning, first thing.
Oh, applicants.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you
You know,
they- Not to interrupt, but they hadn't set up the little shops yet, you know, so it should really increase once, because I know some people have hit roadblocks with the computer
Technical,
application
computer, yeah.
process. So we should see an increase in that once they get here and set up those sites just to help people sign up. I think it'll be.
Tell us what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Remember, they're gonna come in and set up, I keep calling them workshops, but little clinics where
Okay.
where the folks that are not computer savvy
Uh-huh.
can come in and they'll help them sign up. FWC's coming to do that.
But they're still gonna do that?
Yeah.
See, I thought the deadline was December 1st. That's why I was asking.
No.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I tell you.
God bless you, Commissioner.
Let me say one thing too, Mr. Chairman, while we're talking about it. I was approached by two of the two hunters up there over the weekend, and they said they were out there at McIntyre hunting. And the FWC officer come by and he said, didn't y'all used to oyster? And they said, yeah, we used to oyster. You know, we did it between, the 2020 before it closed. And they said, and he told them, be sure to go file for your oyster license over there. So I had to call John Creamer and thank him, because that's outreach there. The officers are telling people to go, and the boys didn't know. They said, Miss Cheryl, where we go? I said, the shellfish place. So you had two more, see, and just we need. It's like I always said last meeting. We need to get all we can in there to file, because these are going to be the numbers they go by.
It is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Not a problem.
Applications will be accepted between November 10th and December 16th.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
For some reason, I had in my head it was December 1st, but good. I'm glad to hear that. Miss Whitney's attending via Zoom. Miss Whitney, you're up next.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have good news. The library was awarded an Infinite Sums grant. The Infinite Sums Rural and Small Library Math Leadership Cohort is a national initiative funded by the Simons Foundation. This program provides $10,000 to support math-focused programming and includes professional development for participating library professionals. As a part of the grant, I am required to attend two events. The Infinite Sums Convening Summit in New York City, January 25th through the 26th, and the Association for Rural and Small Libraries Conference in Montgomery, Alabama in September of 2026. All travel expenses for the January summit are fully sponsored by the Simons Foundation, meaning no cost to the county or the board. So I'm just asking for approval for out-of-state travel to both these events this upcoming year.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom and Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion before we vote, Commissioners?
Just, Mr. Chairman, congratulations on getting this grant. I appreciate you going out, having that, being proactive and not reactive, and to provide for our library, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're really looking forward to this. We're going to host 3 math-centered events. We're, give away some free stuff, maybe add some new things to the collection. There's a lot of great things we can do with this, so I'm excited.
Thank you, Ms. Whitney. Is there any more discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you, and I look forward to representing the county in the Big Apple.
Yep.
Have you ever been to New York?
I have not, and it's January. I don't know what I'm going to wear.
Okay, I'll give you some tips after the meeting. I'll give you a holler.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Did you have any other questions for me on my report?
No, ma'am. I do want to say thank you to the city of Carabel. I do notice some monies that was given to the library from the city, and I want to say thank you to them.
Yes, and I do have a thank you letter of support I'm going to send to them. So
Good. Good. Anyone else have anything for Ms. Whitney? Thank you, Whitney, for everything you do.
take care, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
You too. All right. James Osteen. Is he attending online, Michael?
No, sir, he's at a conference
Okay.
with the EMS. He didn't have any action items, any questions, you can give him a call, Commissioners.
All right, so Commissioners, if you have any questions for Mr. Osteen, if you would just get in touch with him, and I'm sure he'll be glad to answer them. Mr. Patterson is in the room, sir. You're up next.
All right. I just wanted to come to y'all and let you know we plan to adopt the 2023 Florida Building Code as of January. The code comes out a new code comes out every couple of years. So we're currently under the 2020 code, and this would be just adopting the 23. The 25 code won't be out until sometime next year.
Right.
So then we'll probably adopt it in 27.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
Where are these codes? Where's this book that we're supposed to look at to approve? I'm joking. It's a huge book. You ever seen it
I mean,
before?
it's
It's like
This is,
Oh,
I brought this, this is the changes. This
Those-
is-
that's just
this
the
is
changes, right?
This is the significant
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
So, most everything is,
Our neighboring counties have been on the 23 code I think they adopted it in 24, so they've already, so most everybody that works in multiple counties are already following the 23 codes. There's a lot of electrical stuff in there and we just held off as long as we could, but we really have to
Well, we should.
move forward.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I was kidding because I know I've seen that book. It's huge. So I'll make a motion to adopt the 2023 State of Florida new building codes.
So we have a motion to adopt by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Commissioners, do you have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else, Mr. Steve?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Miss Erin Griffith?
As Erin finds her way to turn on her camera, just to let you know, she just sent this morning updated report with the runway. I just got it. It should be on your tablets right now. So that, Commissioner, I don't know if you got that. You might want to treat as a last minute.
So, which one is that?
Okay, there's
Number
one-
3?
Is there one that's highlighted?
Yes.
Is that correct?
It is action item number 3. I did have the title and the action there. I just did not have the narrative completed because we did not have the grant award agreement in hand.
Yeah, but it was published with the title and the,
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's correct.
that I think it's just like everything else, it was published.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioners, looking at this, well, Miss Erin, I know we don't have the caption up above this. Are these things need to be discussed individually, or because we don't have that caption above them?
Oh, as far as,
Being able to vote on them on consent? Because
let's see, that would be, action items are, numbers 1
through 4. 1 through 4, correct?
Actually, 1 through 6 are action items.
Okay, hold on.
We're looking.
Oh, actually, number 5 is not, because number 5 is informational. My apologies. I
That's
got
what
out
threw
of
me off. It's all good.
Yeah.
I see the word
Yeah.
informational
Yeah.
now. Hold on. What are we looking at? So, commissioners, are you wanting to pull any items to discuss them independently? We have action items 1 through 4 and 6. What is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I think just because I know there was some confusion about the TDC public hearing
Yes.
and what it was for, if Aaron, you could just give I'd like to pull that one out so Aaron can explain a little bit for our community, so many people that don't realize what that is.
Well, that's
Is it
actually an
action item
informational
or not?
item.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yes, we can
never
do
mind.
that after we
Okay.
do the other, if
Okay.
that's okay.
I make the motion.
Okay.
I'll say.
Approve.
So we have a motion to approve items 1 through 4 and 6 on this agenda by consent by Commissioner Croom. It's been seconded by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion, commissioners, before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Aaron, let's talk about 5 and 7.
Okay, all right. Number 5 was for informational purposes only. The contractor Oliver Sperry has completed the punch list items, and the project is now 100% complete for the Apalachicola Health Department siding project. I have actually included some conditional site photos prior to the construction. The masonite material siding was in terrible condition, and there was some rot in the plywood sheathing, and the building's gutters had actually rusted through. So you can actually see those before photos included on my report. And after construction was completed, Oliver Sperry actually demoed the old siding, replaced the rotten sheathing, installed new vapor barrier wrap, and also installed new hardy board siding, paint, and gutters. And I will say that facility is honestly looking better than ever.
Yeah,
That's
it looks
very
really good,
exciting.
Aaron.
It does.
It
Yeah,
does.
very excited to see that project completed, and it was badly needed.
Mr. Chairman, yesterday I had to go by the health department. So I just took a little walk around it just to look, and it does look good. It's a completely different building, just
Yes,
looking at it.
it is.
It's a good job.
All right, let's talk about number 7, Ms. Aaron.
Okay. Okay. Also attached to my report, because we do have a public hearing scheduled on December 17th, and County Attorney Schuler has submitted the advertisement for that to run in the Apalachicola Times. Attached is the proposed TDC spending plan for the next 2 years. In accordance with statute, the TDC is required to update the spending plan every 2 years. The last update was adopted in February of 2024, and that covered fiscal years 23-24 and 24-25. That plan is also included for reference as an attachment to this report. As reported during this year's budget discussions, there was a change in the 2025 statutes which allowed Franklin County, which is categorized as fiscally constrained, to expend tourist development taxes for improvements to public facilities and eligible infrastructure projects, also known as Section 6 expenditures, so long as certain conditions are met. The county governing board approves the use for the public facilities by a vote of at least 2/3 of its membership. No more than 70% of the cost of the proposed public facilities will be paid for with tourist development tax revenues, and sources of the remaining costs are identified and confirmed by the county's governing board. At least 40% of all tourist development tax revenues collected in the county are spent to promote and advertise tourism, and the TDC must pay for an independent professional analysis demonstrating the positive impact of the infrastructure project on tourist-related businesses in the county. Previously, the county was not authorized for Section 6 expenditures, as Florida statute required a minimum collection of $10 million each year in tourist development tax proceeds for eligibility. Conceptual Section 6 improvements could include projects such as the SGI seawall repair, ramp and parking area improvements, Patton Drive boat ramp and ADA dock improvement, Old Ferry Dock boat ramp parking area improvement, Indian Creek boat ramp dock and ADA access improvements, other county boat ramp improvements, Sylvester Williams Park improvements, sports lighting, basketball court, pavilion, volleyball court, walk path, Vrooman Park improvements, path resurfacing, restroom improvements, property acquisition, Gene Sewell Park improvements, pickleball court, picnic pavilion, parking improvements, downtown areas, beach areas, city playground improvements, city boat ramp area improvements, city parking improvements, SGI multi-use path resurfacing project, additional phases of that, resurfacing of roads in high tourism areas, commercial district of St. George Island, downtown corridor areas of Apalachicola, East Point, Carabel, and Alligator Point, SGI auditorium and visitor center, drainage improvement, downtown areas and commercial districts. Before moving forward with any Section 6 project concepts, the county must go through the process to amend the TDC spending plan to reflect the change. Attached is a draft plan which has been circulating since October and was approved by the Tourist Development Council at their meeting on Wednesday, November 12th. The draft plan clearly outlines the goals and objectives for tourist development and provides a steering document for budgeted revenues and expenditures going forward. The 2-year spending plan allocates the current year budgeted revenues as percentage totals. A maximum of 10% can be spent for administrative activities, which would also fund the charges for the required independent professional analysis for Section 6 projects, 40% in advertisement and promotional activities, 20% towards objectives E, F, and I of the plan, which include museum improvements and operations, erosion control efforts, maintenance, dredging, visitor center activities, and Section 6 projects, 10% for public safety services, 10% for beach park facilities, and 10% as a reserve. Interest revenues are earmarked for engineering and design costs associated with projects, and carry forward funds are proposed to be allocated to a variety of projects which fit within Florida statute and the objectives of categories E, F, and I of the plan, including the replacement of dune walkovers on St. George Island as part of erosion control efforts, permitting efforts for maintenance dredging, various improvements at the county sports arenas, construction of an East Point Nature Center Visitor Center, completion of Fort Coombs Armory Convention Center improvements. Sorry, I'm going to the next page here. And the Section 6 conceptual project summarized above. The balance of any revenues remaining at the end of the fiscal year can be reallocated for uses consistent with the provisions of Section 125.0104 Florida statutes for funding objectives E, F, and I as outlined in the plan. All spending plan concepts and projects are subject to the governing body making the appropriate legislative findings for the use of sales tax proceeds, and or some project concepts and project elements may necessitate clarification on eligibility for funding by the state attorney general. So that's just kind of a brief summary on why we're actually going through with this public hearing to adopt the 2-year TDC spending plan. And that is actually something that's required to be adopted in that fashion by Florida statute.
Yep. And Ms. Aaron, so that's what's given the public at large, the residents, by adopting the plan, they can know and expect these are the kinds of things that we're looking at doing with those dollars that have come from visitors. So
Correct.
This is a tourist development tax. This is not a tax that our residents are directly paying.
And actually, during the last plan revision, that was when the legislature added the 10% for public safety services. So that was a major catalyst for us revising the plan 2 years ago.
Yes.
Was the change in the statutory language.
Yes. Well, hopefully there won't be many more changes to the statutory language, but the ones we have worked out good for us. I will say that. All right. Any questions about that, commissioners?
Not really a question, Mr. Chairman, but I believe what Commissioner Ward was alluding to, there was some social media back and forth whenever the advertisement or the ordinance or the advertisement went out, and Ms. Griffin did a great job of getting out in front of that. I seen where she had went and tried to explain it to a lot of folks. It was, just well, I don't know if they were misled or just didn't understand what we were doing. And she did a wonderful job of getting out in front of that. So thank you, Ms. Griffin, for stalking the Facebook pages.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
One of the other things that I like to see is other county boat ramp improvement. Maybe somewhere in the mix here, in the months and years to come, we can find something down in Alligator Point for those aquaculture people as well as the the recreational. So hopefully we'll be able to see that come to pass. Because we don't meet the criteria for FWC's boating improvement down there because it's less than 3 foot of water.
Yep.
At sometimes, so now maybe we can put some kind of improvement down there to what we already have.
That would be good.
I think that the main thing is, and the public needs to be aware of, this is something that's exciting because we are now getting to spend some money. That is again not a burden on the local people as far as the tax burden. That's on the tourists. So we will be able to spend that money a little more freely within the community. So they'll see a little more bang for the buck, so to speak, on the bed tax. So everybody that's complaining about all these tourists that's using our infrastructure, we can start putting a little bit back into it with these changes. So this is exciting news. Everybody in the community should be behind this 100%. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Well, and Commissioner Anderson, to go along with that, let's just take for instance any improvements we do to our sports facilities to be able to do tournaments and stuff, which we should see a ramp up in. Our residents get to enjoy that year round, all those improvements. Then some of them's already started to take place. You know what I mean? So that's the thing with that. It can be different. I know from talking to some of them talking to Lee Constantine, Seminole County. Now they're on a whole nother level than us, and I'm not trying to go there.
They are.
They are. They're doing something pretty much every weekend of the year from people from the outside doing tournaments. But the goal to that was a key, and what I'm trying to highlight is exactly what he told me. He said, Ricky, that means all the rest of the time, everything that those people are bringing in and generating are benefiting our residents.
Yeah.
And it's not something that they're paying for out of their ad valorem taxation.
Yeah.
So,
and a good example of that, Mr. Chairman, is the Freedom Festival that we had. Brought in, what did Mr. Steve say, 12,000 people?
there's a lot of people.
Yeah. So.
All right. Ms. Aaron, anything else we need to discuss?
Well, actually, I have a few more just miscellaneous project updates.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
competitive Florida grant award notification. We received notification of approved grant award for retail recruitment strategic plan. That was $32,930. We are currently awaiting the grant award agreement from Commerce and a proposal from the vendor Retail Strategies to get that completed. Duke Energy, we received notification of an approved award for $20,000 for a picnic pavilion and tables at Sylvester Williams Park. We are also awaiting the award agreement on that project. The SGI Stormwater Project, the contractor will be focusing on installation of stormwater pipes in the area near BJ's Pizza and the Blue Parrot in the middle of December. Staff also attended the virtual public hearing for FDOT's tentative 5-year work plan released in October for District 3. The pending local program transportation project grant award additions to the 5-year work plan subject to advancement and approval in the upcoming legislative session and inclusion in the state's budget. There were 2 projects listed below that were recommended for approval by FDOT. I've also attached the FDOT work plan that was issued in July of 2025 for District 3, which summarized some of the other Franklin County transportation projects already in the queue. The 2 new additions, Franklin County CR 379 River Road from US Highway 98 to Mill Road. This is actually the multi-use path project. We actually applied for last year. That was our priority ranked project, and we had applied multiple times for this project, so glad to see that it's finally getting some traction. The design is slated for state fiscal year 2028 and construction in state fiscal year 30. And then we also had the addition of CR 370 Alligator Drive from Pine Street to US 98. And this is actually widening and resurfacing the existing travel lanes, and that was slated for design in state fiscal year 2027 and construction in state fiscal year 2030. And then we also have an upcoming public hearing for adoption of an updated capital improvement plan of the comprehensive plan. And I did provide a summary below just for reference for a future public hearing and content. So at the first meeting of January, a public hearing will be scheduled to adopt the updated capital improvement schedule of the county's comprehensive plan. The county's capital improvement schedule is updated each year and documents the community need for various infrastructure projects. This schedule of projects assists in the planning process and the preparation of grant funding applications. Some grant programs award points for including project concepts in the schedule, and the county tries to update the schedule once per year. A copy of the prior adopted capital improvement plan is attached for reference, and the update will transition completed projects off the schedule, update those that are in progress, and add new projects. So just something that's for January. And that's all I have for you all today.
All right, sounds good. Ms. Aaron, if you know, when is DOT scheduled to start from South Franklin to the Carabel Bridge? I know it's
Goodness,
coming up.
I did see that in the attached schedule, but I haven't heard an update on that.
Okay.
But it is included as an attachment here.
Right.
Let's see here, reports.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask you ahead of time, so I keyed up something you wasn't.
Oh,
I'm waiting on.
that's okay. Let's see. I think they had that on here. Let's see. SR 30 from Apalachicola Bridge to Franklin. Now, SR 30 US Highway 98 from South Franklin Street to the Carabel River Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually slated for construction in state fiscal year 2026.
Okay. So probably roll it in January sometime or February.
Probably so.
Are they prepping for that?
They are
now with the
prepping.
new culverts and
They are
everything?
prepping, but I'm talking about the actual resurfacing part of it, yeah. Yeah, they've been prepping for the drainage, there's been a lot going on in that, well, in East Point, in the island, especially in that corridor. A little bit of paving going on, but it's been a long time coming, so I just wanted to take the time to ask publicly, Aaron, that's all I was doing.
He'll turn on those traffic lights in January.
January 1st, yep, that's what they said. Yeah. They were gonna do it sooner than that, but one of the poles was either damaged in shipping or was wrong, so they're having to replace one of the poles that hold the lights. Anyone else have anything for Miss Aaron?
I have one thing.
All right.
It's been on mine a couple of times, and just recently too, between Aaron and Michael. I made a note to speak with you all about this and the rest of the commission. Is there any way that we can create a document so us commissioners can advertise of, what is actually covered under our property taxes, which is, some of our neighbor counties already in the process, and I think there's a website, I can't remember the website they told us, but it's in preparation of letting our citizens know, hey, this get on the ballot.
Yes.
This is what's gonna happen, not just saying like 16, hey, we're gonna cut taxes or cut property taxes, 16 million in ad valorem. No, you're cutting, some from animal control, your public safety. They actually need to know when they fill in that bubble what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to, I know, not trying to create panic, but at the same time, we need to be in preparation. This is a proactive board, so it's one of the things that we need to look at doing.
So you're talking about the discussion that they're having legislature about cutting property taxes?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that was on fact. I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was,
They're already
I don't
doing
remember
some
what
stuff on our
committee it was
behalf.
on. I think it was the
Finance
Finance
and
and
Tax.
Tax
Finance,
Committee.
okay.
So I'll send the link.
I'm not on that committee.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And you and Aaron can look at it and then disseminate that with the other commissioners that don't have it.
Yeah, and the language, you know.
Because I had a little video and everything about it,
Okay.
yeah.
But
Make
remember
myself
too,
a
there's
note.
also language to change the physically constrained county stuff too.
Well, they haven't showed that yet. They've talked about it.
They
but
talked about it, they haven't
They
showed
haven't
it.
presented that yet.
But that is something
Well,
we're gonna jump on,
I did discuss,
along with 20-something other counties.
Mr. Chairman, not to get completely off topic, but I did discuss with some of the other commissioners from other counties how they felt about it, and they're just as scared as we are. But we're fiscally constrained. So I feel like if this does come through, and there's tons of bills out there right now that they're trying to put to the legislature, they keep kicking them back. The term fiscally constrained is gonna be even more of a hard title to get. Because
Yeah.
they're gonna say, well, let's really, really look at and define what is fiscally constrained county. Would we still even fall under that? That's my concern. So that's just a lot of things we gotta think about as the commissioners and make sure our public is aware and keep them in tune and be, well, I like to try to always be transparent, but just make sure that they're aware,
Right.
like Commissioner Croom said, about what they're actually voting for, so.
And at the same time, with this commission sometime next year, we probably have to have a workshop and have a discussion about prioritizing.
Yep.
If it comes, like what departments is, and that's a scary conversation, but we gotta be proactive about it and don't let it sneak up on us. So,
That's like what I always say, the essential, non-essential,
Right.
and quality of life services.
yeah.
And then we're gonna have to prioritize it from there. And I'm gonna tell you something, our intent back when we did the physically constrained a few years back, was to help those small counties like Franklin and Union and all the other small counties, to be able to have some consideration that our millage rates and our other stuff is not the same as those big populated counties. And I think we heard, I didn't like some of the talk I was hearing down there about possibly, putting us on the same playing field as all the other counties. And that's gonna be dangerous for
Right.
small counties that's physically constrained.
We're not Miami-Dade.
That's right.
Or Duval.
That's right.
So,
With $175 million in reserve. You know.
right.
Yeah, we're not.
That's all I had. I was gonna see if they can, I guess we'll give you all the information when we can find it. I know I wrote something down, but it's in one of my many other books I got at the house, so.
Anything else for Ms. Herron? Ms. Herron, thank you. We appreciate everything you do on behalf of the county.
Thank you all.
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners back in session. Ms. Ginger Coulter, Sheriff's Department, you are up next. Come on down, you're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
I
morning.
hope you had a
Morning,
good Thanksgiving.
Ginger.
Question is, do I get a prize? You said,
We'll-
come on.
We'll find out.
You get to spin the wheel.
Yeah, spin the wheel, we'll
Oh,
find out.
that's never good when you just spin the wheel because you never know where it's going to land.
That's right.
May have to just sit back down.
Hopefully not. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation before we even get that part.
Thank you, Ginger, for being here this morning. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
thank you. Ginger Coulter, Franklin County Sheriff's Office. I am here to discuss a couple of items, the building, an update on the building project that we discussed early in spring and summer. Commissioner Sanders, you had asked if we would get some state appropriations for that. We did seek state appropriations, and we were awarded some money from the state, and we also made the space bigger, and of course, we do have to meet certain criteria for the funding, which we'll get into that discussion later, because the first item, we need action item, in order to get the easement for that piece of property to build the building on, whether it's modular construction, we have to have a topographical survey. And Bill worked getting some proposals for that. We have about 3 different proposals, and we just need an action item from the board, I guess,
allow
to
that.
fund that, to allow that and to fund that. I don't know if you want official quotes and estimates from vendors, or for us to just go with the lowest vendor or the best vendor, how you want, but that's the action item first that we're
I think
requesting.
that really matters how much money we're talking about, because we have a bid policy. So if it's under that bid policy.
I believe it's under the bid
different.
policy. The highest one I see is 4,600.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely under the policy.
Mr. Chairman, our bid policy is 25,000, right?
Yeah, it
So
is.
you don't have to, as long as
Okay.
it's under 25,000, you don't have to go out for bids.
Yes. Yeah, so there's not that to worry about. So would this allow for, and I'm not trying to jump ahead in the discussion, would this allow for the sheriff's office on behalf of the county or on behalf of itself to approach the school district about getting the variant, not the variance, but
The easement?
the easement for that property?
Correct.
Okay.
There's already been discussions with
Okay.
the school board about that, just nothing official until we get the survey done.
Okay,
And then we'll go the official
okay.
route.
So is that something you'll have to come back and ask us to ask them for? How does that work?
Bill can answer that because it's kind of a part of the Team Franklin project as well that ties into that, so he can answer that better.
Okay.
Yeah, this sort of kind of twines in with each other, Mr. Chairman. But I was directed by the superintendent to get the boundary survey as well
Yes.
as with the sheriff. That's first step. Then I'll go to the school board and ask for them to accept that
Okay.
legal easement and boundary survey.
Okay.
Then we'll come back to you for final approval
Okay.
as we go through. So it'll be a 2-part scenario, or
Okay.
3-part with the sheriff as well. But we'll come back to you once they approve.
Well, I only asked that question, Bill and Ginger, not to slow anything down,
Sure.
but just to make sure we're all in the same, we all understand what's going on. That's
Understood.
the only reason I asked.
Yep, no worries. So that's my
Okay.
first action. I don't know if y'all want to
Okay.
decide on that now, or us go through the rest of
Well,
the
what's the pleasure
discussion.
of the board?
Mr. Chairman, this will come out of our professional services budget, I assume?
Yes.
So
you'll
I'll
have
make
to.
a motion to approve the survey. I guess do we need to say who we're approving it for? Because there's 2 different ones. There was one from, obviously the cheaper one's North Florida. Do we need to specify that in the motion?
No, you shouldn't.
Definitely, the lowest price would be the best.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I just didn't know if I needed to specify it in my motion.
Sure, I
Okay.
would, yes, ma'am.
I'll make the motion to approve the survey proposal with North Florida Professional Services for $4,200.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, the survey, because we don't know with the funding, these surveys are good for however many years? They're good for a good little while, right? Yeah.
This is not if it were a bank with financing, they have certain guidelines where they want the survey to
We don't
be,
have that.
within a certain period of the loan, but this is not a loan that, I think it just goes on in perpetuity until we find out there's something wrong with it and it needs to be fixed.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any additional discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Ms. Ginger.
All right, thank you. So the next item will be the actual building discussion, and Sophia put together a little presentation for us. If you don't mind, we'll just go through,
Okay.
and I'll just kind of show you what we have prepared for you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're doing awesome over there, Michael.
I was going to say her pointer quit working.
Clicker isn't working right.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, so the first building is the Training and Evidence Building. That has been a multi-purpose building for many, many years. We purchased that approximately 2002. I only remember that because that was one of my first largest purchases with the Sheriff's Office, and that was under Bruce Varnes' administration. He put that in as a training center and a multi-purpose unit, and we have got a lot of use out of that building. We have had to rebuild it basically from the ground up multiple times because, as you know, it's just an old trailer. New flooring, everything, multiple times. Again, it's needing new flooring. The right side of the building is also our evidence storage. As you know, evidence is very important with all of our cases. So that houses the training and the evidence. Again, a very old building. And you can go to the next slide, Michael. This is also evidence storage. This was a shed that was purchased in 2004, approximately 2004 under Sheriff Mock's administration. And you can go to the next slide. This is the Care Cottage. This is one of the most important offices we have right now, the Care Cottage. You see Bill.
That's where I live.
That's where he lives. Sophia and Tammy work out of that office. They do a lot of work for the community, for the inmates, for citizens of Franklin County. I know you are very aware of some of the work they do. This was purchased in about 2006. Again, it's been remodeled multiple times. It was, prior use was a record storage, then we served it as a deputy's room. We converted it recently to the Care Cottage because obviously we need the space to do the work that we do. You can go to the next slide. This is our 911 office. This is a very important office as well. This is the heart of 911. This is probably the building that gives us a lot of the most issues that we have been having. We just recently had another inspection, air quality inspection for this building. It was purchased approximately 2006 under Sheriff Mock's administration as well. It's been used as the Victim Advocate Office for narcotics and investigations in the past. And it's currently housed in our 911 office. We are constantly having, you can see the bags underneath the air unit there. We constantly have water coming up from underneath that gets into that building. Again, this is another building that we have been, we've remodeled multiple times. You can go to the next slide. And this is our inmate video visitation. Again, this was purchased in about 2006. It was prior used at the firing range. We converted it for inmate video visitation. It's been there for several years as well. Again, remodel. I think that's the last of the slides. And I just wanted to really let you get a visual. I'm sorry, we do have another one, investigations, yes. So that's the most recent building. The building we had prior to that was destroyed during Hurricane Michael in 2018. So the insurance company bought us this building in 2019. So this is a fairly new building, but it's not without its problems either. We have had air quality, excuse me, control issues with this one in the past, but we're working with it. Is there any other slides? Investigations equipment. So this is directly behind investigations. This building was also purchased in 2019. That houses the equipment for investigations. So just think anything investigators do out in the field, this is where equipment is kept. So I wanted to show you all those slides to show you how spread out all of these different offices are and the shape that a lot of these offices are. We have got a lot of bang for our buck over the years, as you can see. Some of those buildings date back to 2002. We continuously put money into those, just trying to keep them maintained, trying to keep them in good working order. But we have had some issues with them, and quite frankly, we're just outgrowing that space. We need one unified building, excuse me, to house all of these different programs. We did get approved for the $500,000. There are stipulations with that, because it's going to be part of, eventually, we're going to have a 32-bed facility. That's not going to be funded by the county. That's something with Team Franklin. So that's something separate. But it is going to work in conjunction with that. This is going to be a judicial center part of that, and we're going to house therapy sessions and things of that nature in this building as well. Our care coordinators will be in this building. Our peer specialists will be in that building. So it's all going to come together under one building. I think this is a great opportunity for Franklin County. I know it's going to be a cost to build, but we are reaching that point to where we have got to do something. We've been battling with sick employees. We're tired of having to sink money into these old buildings. And we have an opportunity with the funding with the state that I don't know that we'll get that again. And we did reapply. Bill worked again to ask for $6 million of appropriations in this budget year, which is also attached. Excuse me, I think that's going to go more towards the second phase. The first phase is what I'm here to talk about today, and that's the building with the floor plans that I've sent you. We do have two. Aaron had reached out to a modular company. We don't have an official RFP or RFQs or anything at this time because we're just trying to get a cost estimate at this point just to see if this is even something feasible for the county to look at. So we have a modular, and we also have a construction architectural drawing, and there is a significant price difference in both of those, and that's going to be at the pleasure of the board, how you decide you want to move forward with that. But the action item that I'm here today about is to form a finance or bond committee for us to look at options for financing this and getting the financing that we need for this building, and to follow up with an architectural drawing that's going to be, I guess, more, I don't want to say suitable, because the plans we have now are suitable. But I guess once we decide what the budget would be that the county is willing to look at, then that would determine what type of building we get.
Yeah. Okay. You have any questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I do see, I guess we've got a couple different bids here.
Well, they're actually just quotes.
Yeah, they're not bids, no. And I did have a company reach out to me, and I put her email in there as well. When we do get to that process, they want to be included in the bid, and I responded to let them know that I would be here today to appear before you, but we have not started that process yet. We're just in the initial phases of getting approval to move forward at this point.
Mr. Chairman, I do agree that going to those outbuildings, anybody that's ever been to the jail, I know the first time I was going to meet with Mr. Williams on Team Franklin, I kind of didn't know where to go because they were like all these buildings. It's kind of confusing, and you know, it's an aesthetic. You want something to look nice. I guess the ask though is you're just wanting to do a formation of a review committee so y'all can start going out looking. Y'all asked for appropriations, correct?
Yes, we were awarded $500,000 in the state appropriations to go towards the building. So we do have that part of the funding, but we have to get the remainder of the funding. But we do want approval from the board for the building. Yeah. But I understand we have to help come up with some money too. Yeah. And that's where I guess we need to look at maybe forming a committee. I don't know if maybe Erin would be interested. I believe she's very vital to the county, and she is the county fiscal manager. I don't want to put more on her plate, but I think she should be very much a part of the discussion with that. Or if any of the commissioners want to join in, because this is the county, this is a county building. Yeah. The grant was awarded to the sheriff's office, but the building is the county. It belongs to the county. So we're just doing a lot of behind the scenes legwork and presenting it to you guys.
With that $500,000 legislation appropriation, how long do we have that for?
The grant is good through June 30th of 2026. I emailed Elizabeth with FDLE yesterday and let her know that I was appearing before you, the board today, to discuss phase 1 of the project. because like I said, the grant does include a 32-bed facility, but that's going to be in Phase 2. That's going to be under a different part of the funding. The Phase 1 will be the administration building with the in-house physicians, therapies, care coordinators, peer specialists, and administration. So that is Phase 1.
So the total, the $6 million request for 2026, 27, is that including everything or just?
No,
phase one and
that's
phase
going to
two,
be
or phase-
separate. Yeah, that does not count for Phase 1. That is not the Phase 1. Phase 1, Phase 2 will come later. Phase 1, we have to have the center up first, and then Phase 2, Bill May can better explain Phase 2 with the 32-bed facility, because that all kind of ties in with the Team Franklin project, and I'm not really a part of Team Franklin. So I kind of don't really want to go to Phase 2. I just want to deal with Phase 1.
I got you. And right here on the southern contract that you provided, is that the remodel or is that the construction?
That is the construction, that's the stick build.
Okay, that's
But-
not the remodel. Or not the remodel, modular.
No.
Sorry.
No, the modular, let me look again, let me see.
Modular's further down, Commissioner.
So that first one, yes, Southland Contracting, that is the stick construction, but that does not include the level 7 and 8 ballistic protection that's going to be required for the lobby, the visitation, and the evidence storage section. The modular section does include that. And again, that's at the pleasure of the board. I know the modular, you have a 30 to 50-year lifespan versus a construction, you're probably looking at a 50 to 100-year lifespan. But again, that's the pleasure of the board. We know we need the space. We need a more safe environment for our employees, if you will. So we're not really too picky whether it's modular or construction, even though we know construction in the long run is the better solution, but we also understand fiscally we may need to do the modular, and we're okay with whatever the board decides to do on that.
Mr. Chairman, that jail that's there now, was that 88, 89, if my memory serves correct?
I think
that was
87
built?
or 88.
Yeah, 87 or 88. So basically, your ask is to just approve the formation of the committee to kind of go out and start to get these RFQs or RFPs, I guess Qs in this case. That's what your ask is today.
Well, for the financing as well, I would like approval for the building too. But to be able to move forward to do that, we do have to have the RFPs, RFQs, and also the, well, you already did the survey, so that's taken care of.
Ginger, I do have a question. You mentioned the $500,000 grant. What are the requirements of that grant? Like, what exactly was that grant supposed to fund?
Yeah, so it's in, Aaron, I think it's in the packet that I emailed you. Let me find it. Sorry, there's a lot of pages. The recipient will use funding to hire a general contractor to construct a licensed 32-bed intervention and substance abuse treatment facility to be located at 270 State Road 65. This facility will provide housing, behavioral services, and substance abuse treatment to individuals incarcerated in Franklin, Gulf, Calhoun, and Liberty counties. That's going to be phase 2 of the project. An interdisciplinary team will screen inmates from these counties and select those with the highest acuity scores to receive treatment and intervention services. Architectural and structural drawings have been completed and are currently pending final approval by the Board of County Commissioners. That's phase 1, the building that has already been drawn up. That's where your care coordinators, your peer specialists, your therapy rooms, and your meeting rooms are in the new building.
Ginger, where's the deputies located at now? Where they do the reports at? Do they do it
In their
individually
cars,
still?
yes.
So the deputies' room is still
They have no space.
shut down and,
Correct.
okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, Ginger, the quotes that you provided, estimates, whatever you want to call them, the modular has the ballistic included, but the
Yes.
stick built from, was it Southland?
And
does
I
not.
did reach out to Jane yesterday just to confirm that. but she was out sick and did not have her laptop, but I am 99.99% sure that that is, because I looked back over the plan, and it does specify in there that it does include the level 7 and 8. I think I have the email attached in there as well, where it's the level 7. And they also do financing, the modular. She said that they can offer 5, 6, or 7 years with a balloon. But again, I guess that's going to be part of, if we move forward with this, with the modular or the construction, that'll be part of the RFP process at that point, choosing and selecting a contractor.
So, Ms. Ginger, it sounds like probably what we need to do is form this committee, find out what we can actually finance, what we should finance, what we can afford to finance, or bond, however you want to look at it, and let that discussion drive whether it's modular or stick-built. Because I'll be honest with you, my preference, even though it's more money, is going to be a stick-built building. We've already got a bunch of modulars.
Yeah.
I
And yet,
agree.
you know, they lasted for a little while, but they're not going to last 50 years. They're not going to do that. And I'm not disputing what the manufacturer's saying. They're just not going to do it. Not for the use that we're going to put it through. But I think that from whatever committee we put together to look at bonds or other ways to help finance it, I think that should drive the discussion of what we can actually afford.
Okay. Bill is very well versed with bonds, so I would definitely have him on the committee. And of course, I'll be on the committee, and at the pleasure of the board who you want to see on the committee, since it will be a county project.
Well, I don't know that we were ready to do that this morning. I'm good with that.
But you're good with approving to
I
move
think
forward
we
with
are.
that?
We'll find out here in a minute. But we don't know who might be on that committee yet. That is a discussion we need to have.
Right,
But hopefully it's something we can take up at the next meeting to form that committee.
okay,
Anyway, I'm one of 5. That's how I feel.
sure.
It's something we need to do. It's something that we've been needing to do. Facilities do need to be replaced sometimes, and I think we're there, especially looking at the way operations are functioning at the county jail
Yeah.
with all these different small, you know what I mean? It's,
And I think it shows we've really, really, really tried to maximize the dollars and utilize these buildings for a very, very long time.
yes, ma'am. Well, at some point, these are taxpayer dollars, but at some point, you're throwing good money after bad to keep
Yeah.
trying to revamp old buildings
Correct.
when you could spend the same money in a different area and actually get something out of it that's going to last for a long time.
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Aaron, you still on the line?
Oh, yes.
I got a quick question. So is it too late, and it's just to ask, I know we discussed this last meeting, to submit for legislative appropriation requests on behalf of the county? It is too late?
It is on behalf of the county, but I believe the sheriff's department did the request independently. They actually have, I believe they're offered a chance of actually requesting directly.
I got you. The reason why I asked that, because I do know, I think it's Jackson and Liberty both, receive appropriation for their,
For jails,
yeah,
they did.
so, okay.
Mr. Chairman, you guys, again, you asked, refresh my memory, for the appropriation this year, 6 million for the build out of,
I'll let Bill answer that question.
Okay.
He's the one that did that portion.
Yes, Commissioner, we submitted last year as well, received that $500,000, but we submitted, and we did find in that time frame, it was the 20th of November, but we've got that to the House and to the Senate for sponsorship for $6 million. And I think it's important, and I don't want to confuse it, because you do have a lot of moving parts, but at the end of the day, we're trying to maximize the synergy between the sheriff's office, the county, and the legislative appropriations to reduce the taxpayer impact of these buildings. That's why this administrative building can be both a combined component. It can meet the administrative need and growth of the sheriff's vision, but it can also house providers like us, physicians, social workers, et cetera, and meet the letter of the law and the intent to the legislature. So if we're successful, we will be able to dramatically reduce that and collectively bring that together. If we're not successful, The sheriff still needs that building, and I think that's what Ginger is saying today, that the impact to the county independently could still be $1.5 million to $4.5 million based on the outcome of this. There are some unique options that we're looking at as well, and she mentioned Team Franklin. We're working under a P3 under 255065 statute with that person, and we've had some discussions with the school board about putting projects under a long-term bonding and agreement with them. They were open to that idea. So forming this committee will be able to kind of look at all the synergies in there. But if we fail at some of those other options, and what I mean, we don't get funded in that process, the county would still be looked at for that $1.5 million to $4 million, depending on your choice of construction style, et cetera. But if we can combine them, we think we can greatly reduce that, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Mr. Chairman, before we proceed with making a motion, can we, I don't know what the term to use would be, but is there a way that we can, since they did send this appropriation request to our legislators, can we, as a board, send a letter of support saying, hey, please fund this, we really need a new jail, and all the, things that go along with it, give them like a really sad face emoji or something, and say we need some help. Can we do that?
Can I ask a question to the chairman? How you feel about talking to our lobbyists, and then he gives us some direction as to how to move forward, how we can get the
that's
most
fine.
success
And we can have that by the next meeting.
in the next meeting? And how about that, Commissioner Ward?
I didn't think about
I'm fine
today.
with that. I just want to advocate as best we can to try to get a legislative appropriation. As Commissioner Croom said, they gave it to Liberty. Why can't they give it to us?
Yeah.
I think a letter of support's not going to hurt.
Well,
Good.
knowing, honestly, I didn't know until this morning that they had put in a request. So, yeah, I think that's something we can, I think our strongest support is actually talking with our lobbyists and having them sing from the same sheet of music on behalf of the county.
Tell us what they
They are-
He knows what the
And tell us what they need from
verbiage.
us.
Well, they're
Yes.
already gonna be in those rooms and
Yeah.
having those discussions, so I think that would move it just as far along. Not saying a letter of support's not good. He might tell us, and when that's appropriate, we could be ready to do that.
With that, Chairman, I'm going to go ahead and approve the formation of this review committee.
Second.
All right. All right, so we have a motion to approve the formation of a bond review committee on funding a new facility up Highway 65. That also includes getting the easement from the school, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. By Commissioner Ward, it's been seconded by Commissioner Croom. But we're not naming that committee today, correct?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yes.
So how, do we all get together and try and figure out, have names ready to go in front of the board at the next meeting?
That would be my suggestion,
Okay.
if the board and the chairman would allow, that Ginger and you get the staff between the entities, and you bring them to the next meeting,
Yeah.
and that way we can have that approved, but that way we've got everybody on board,
Yeah.
and we know what it is.
And Attorney Schuler, we're not appointing any county commissioners to that committee because they need to hear whatever the results that committee brings.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that publicly.
Have I said that so often that it's memorable?
I said it for you. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
All right, yes.
Okay, so with that being said, will the motion and second be withdrawn on the record, and then we'll deal with this at the next meeting? Is that-
Well,
is that-
you have to have a motion second to direct staff to do it, correct? That's what we're doing.
Oh, I thought the motion was to go ahead and form it and
Yeah.
name people.
Yeah, it was to form it. They're gonna get together and they're gonna name people and bring it back to us
Okay.
for, yeah.
But the main motion is to approve their request.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a preempt to getting the names and getting committees forward. That's what I'm
Right.
hearing.
Come back at the next meeting and
Yes,
confirm it. Okay.
that's what I understood. But it's given staff by motion and vote, they're doing what they've
Okay, I
been
just
directed to
misunderstood what
do.
Mr. Morone said.
Right.
That's fine.
And with your approval, Mr. Chairman, and the board, with the survey, we'll hope to bring that survey back to you at the next meeting as well. So all of that technical and housekeeping can be done, so then we can fully execute on what's the best option to move forward.
Okay, Bill, if you bring that survey back to our next meeting, we need to have a long talk.
I was just
Because
thinking.
I need to know how to do that.
I think I'm gonna push real hard.
All right, sounds good. Any other discussion before we vote?
I have a question, but
Yes.
it doesn't pertain to the motion. I'll
Okay.
just do it after we vote.
Okay, we can do that. Anyone have anything that pertains to the motion to discuss? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, what you got?
And it may have been addressed and I missed it, but on this construction, on the stick quote,
Yes,
it does not include the level 7 and 8 ballistic.
that's correct. That's
What's-
going to
what's
drive
the-
the price up some.
Yeah, what, do you have any idea how much more that would be?
Well, for the modular building, she quoted around $92,000 additional on the modular. So I can't speak how much a contractor would charge, but you're looking at roughly $100,000, I would say.
Okay, so we're not talking about $1 million or anything like that.
It shouldn't be,
I was
because it's
just
not the
curious. That's-
entire building. It's just the evidence portion, the front lobby, and the visitation area that will have the ballistic, and the evidence will have the fire protection as well.
Okay, that's all it was. I was just trying to get a general
Sure.
idea. I know that's premature until you start actually getting
Till we
some
get the
quotes.
RFP,
Yeah.
correct.
And Commissioner Emerson, one of the things mentioned too, I've spoken to the superintendent with his need for the fleet or the bus barn and
Yes.
potential with their administration. They're going to be involved in this equation as well. So we'll have them on this committee and looking at it, because some of the financing components, and as we go out for contractors, may be economies of scale looking at it. So it really is a multi-governmental entity that we'll put in. So in that committee, we'll have someone like Shannon from the school board be there as well, because we're looking at projects, and they're very open to looking at bonding and financing, putting all this under a lump form. So as this committee forms, we'll be able to bring you more reliable and valid information.
Well, that's a lot to do, and I'm not saying it's not good.
Survey will be here, but I don't know about the rest of
Right,
it.
but if we can work that out and it saves any taxpayer dollars for the residents of Franklin County, we're 100% with that, I think. I think this board is.
Thank you. And we did work really hard last year to get the appropriations. We didn't get as much as what we wanted. He wrote one and I wrote one, and they met us in the middle and gave us a $500,000. So we were very, very happy with that. And thank you, Commissioner Sanders, because you're the one that asked us to do that originally, and we did. And
like they
Bill
gave you
asked for
some
$6
money.
million this year, so.
Mr. Chairman, we don't need to make a motion for the letter to, we're kind of talking to our own
No,
lobbyists. It's not really-
We'll know at the next
Okay,
meeting.
okay.
Yeah. We'll know and come back, kind of take the direction from the lobbyists instead of just what we think. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right. Michael, is Louis appearing not soon? Okay.
There you go.
Hey, Louis,
Hey, good morning. Sorry I couldn't be there today.
you good?
We want to give you a brief update on the status of the EMS transition. We recently have finished the job descriptions. We're still waiting on Evergreen to update Aaron on the pay scale, the pay study. Once we do that, from my understanding, we're going to put out for to advertise for EMS director.
Yep.
We're also working on policies and procedures specifically for EMS. There is some things that's going to be different. We got to have like narcotics policies, biohazard, things of that nature. So I'm hoping to have a rough draft ready for the review by the commission sometime in January.
Okay.
The medical director, we're hoping to bring the medical director on February 1st. From my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, we are able to assume the contract from Weems. That is getting ready to be renewed December 17th, I believe. So Weems will renew the contract, and the county will assume the contract come the first week of February. And we're trying to bring the medical director on early due to the DEA license. We need to have everything in place and get everything set up with our vendors. So whenever the time comes in April, we're able to move forward and not have delays as far as ordering medications and different equipment. And I do want to thank the board and everybody that worked on the Lanark station. I've been out there multiple times, and it is a really nice station, and I'm really happy that the crews and the community has an ambulance back in Lanark, and it's the station's perfect, and I want to thank everybody for that.
Thank
And
you.
that's all I have. If you
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions or concerns?
So when are we talking about a date of assuming the ambulance service? February 1st then?
April.
February 1st.
April?
Yeah, it would actually be April 1st, Commissioner. That is what we had done during our budget discussions, and so that's what we had actually planned. But we do have to have some things in place prior to that assumption date where we can actually get, in place, ready to roll on April 1st. So
I
yeah,
just
so
wanna make
some
sure
things
that-
will happen a little bit before April, but April 1st is our hopeful start date for Franklin County Assumption.
Not superstitious, I would say April 2nd.
No, April
All
Fool's
right,
Day.
anyone have any questions for Louis?
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you're doing on behalf of Franklin County, Louis.
Well, thank y'all.
Yes, sir, you have a good day. Mr. David Walker?
Good morning, Commissioners, on this cold morning. I got a sweater, I got a jacket, I got shirts on, trying to stay warm. David Walker, Weems Memorial Hospital CEO. I have 3 action items before you and 2 information items here. The first action item is the new radiology provider request. So we're requesting to transition to a new radiology group. The hospital board has reviewed the agreement, Attorney Schuler has reviewed it, the medical directors have reviewed it as well. There's a financial impact. The current radiology provider is $14,500 per month. The new radiology provider will be $15,000 per month. So it's pretty much even there. Also to note that, being that we're a critical access hospital, we will get 40% of that cost back on our cost report, for the annual fee of that. So I just need board approval to approve this new radiology group.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
That has been seconded by Commissioner Amison and Commissioner Croom. Any discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is unanimous.
The second one is the Air Methods Preferred Provider Agreement. This is the air ambulance agreement with Air Methods. And Weems, right now, we are partnered with Air Methods anyway, but we don't have anything formal. We reviewed the agreement. Attorney Schuler and I met with Air Methods and the staff and the attorney. There is some identification language in the agreement that Air Methods would like to keep in the agreement. And so we decided to bring this to the county commission to have some discussion about it. And Attorney Schuler, maybe you can give them understanding of the identification part. Why not have it in there? Why have it in there?
I think we resolved all the other issues in the air ambulance contract that's been proposed. There's already a mutual insurance. They have to carry their insurance. We have to carry our insurance. There's some other issues that came up that were all resolved. For example, attorney's fees, venue, all those usual standard issues. On the indemnification, I had proposed that we eliminate that. I don't like the county, just as a matter of policy and principle, to indemnify vendors for any reason. Sometimes we have to because we have no choice, because, for example, with the least employees at the hospital, those PPOs always require an indemnification, and at that point your only policy option is close the hospital or agree to the indemnification. You always try and make it at least subject to the limited waiver of sovereign immunity in Florida statutes. I honestly do not view the preferred provider agreement with the air ambulance in the same vein as I would as something that's existential. The hospital stays open or the hospital closes. So I had tried to negotiate out the indemnification. Their position is they do not want to do that, notwithstanding the mutual insurance coverage that both parties have. So my response to the vendor, Mr. Walker, was, well, it's now a policy decision for the county commission to make. It's way above my pay grade to make a recommend or to just agree to a contract that potentially indemnifies a vendor for up to $250,000 of public funds. That's just something I'm not authorized to do. Are you legally able to do it? I think you are, as a matter of contract. So that's the reason this is being brought back to you today for your decision. Sometimes when we have these indemnifications or limitations of liability, what I try to do as part of a compromise is, instead of giving them either an unlimited limitation of liability or a unlimited indemnification, try and limit that to, well, you're getting paid X amount of dollars per year under this contract, so everybody will, mutually indemnify the other, $30,000 per year. But they wouldn't agree to that. The air ambulance have taken the stand that they My recollection and understanding is they want a mutual indemnification of $250,000. Excuse me, they want the limited waiver of sovereign immunity, which is $300,000 per person per accident. Or if there are multiple people, it would be up to $600,000 per incident. So that is their position, and that's the presentation to the board and the reason it's coming back to you for the policy decision. But I do think if you choose to make that decision, that is a lawful decision on the board's part, but it is a policy decision for the board.
Okay. Mr. David.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Walker. How does this preferred, and this is going to be very basic, how does this preferred provider agreement benefit Franklin County? So right now, if you're needing an air ambulance, do they not already come?
Yeah, they come now.
So what is this agreement doing? What is it changing?
Yeah, the only thing that it may change, we don't use I think they have maybe a push button kind of deal, like if there's an emergency in the emergency department, everybody's going very busy. Instead of calling in the beginning, you probably can push a button and then they can alert, the air ambulance team.
Okay.
But you still the nurses still have to call after they talk to each other. But we have an agreement already. I mean, they will already serve us regardless, so it's just more of a formalized process.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know. I thought there would be something like that, but it's better to make sure than to assume.
Mr. Chairman, too, and I did call Mr. Walker about all these items yesterday. I asked him, and I know that Commissioner Amison was going to try to reach out and just talk with Air Methods about coming to our airport. So I don't know if this might be like a good faith, hey, we're really committed to having you guys come. Maybe they can set up shop here locally. I don't know if that will help in the long run. That's my thinking about it. I don't know how you all feel, but as you said, any helicopter will come. You got to call them.
Right.
But I guess having them might kind of get our way. I mean, that's just my thought.
Yep. Okay.
And I did, just your point, I did reach out to Tommy Cochran a couple of weeks ago about an update. He said that they were collecting data. I reached out to him yesterday. He said, David, we're still in the process of collecting data to see if they want to move to Franklin County. I can tell you that Franklin County, Air Met is we're probably one of their busiest counties here. So they're getting a lot out of the county anyway, really. But we're still trying to get them here at the airport.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
a couple of things when I was reviewing. I did speak with Mr. Walker and Attorney Schuler, but I was reviewing it again last night and very early this morning, a couple of things in the contract. It was page 2.7 to talk about the facility. This agreement shall cover the following facility, and it talks about Weems Memorial. And I do know they fly to our airports and LZs. So are they covered to fly to our LZs in the airport, or should we put Franklin County facilities or anything of that nature in that contract? Because it right here exclusively said facilities covered by this agreement is Weems. See what I'm saying?
You mean in terms of them landing, say, for example, at the Lanark area if they need to?
The Lanark area, the airport, anywhere that's county
65,
property.
any of our properties.
We can make that change, absolutely.
Okay, that was one of my things on that. The other was, I did not see anything about, and I know majority, being that we're a county entity, and we usually statutorily required to include anything about public records. I didn't see anything about that verbiage in our contract.
I don't have that level of recall, but we can add that in there.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think in terms of that too, though, I think people are protected with HIPAA. So I don't know if HIPAA would supersede, like, you're talking about if somebody wanted a record request of patients taken out, or?
Well, Commissioner, the way I
No, just
handle
chapter
that
119.
is,
It's usually an
is
agree.
that what we do in the contract, what Commissioner Crooms is referring to, is you can add a provision into our contracts that notifies the vendor that, hey, you're dealing with a public agency.
Gotcha.
Because of that, there are certain records that are considered public records under Chapter 119, subject to the statutory exemptions. So if they receive a public record request, or we receive a public, we notify one another.
Right.
Gotcha.
The county, although I can't always get this agreement from people, but what I prefer is that the county be responsible for making the ultimate and final decision whether it's a public record, because although the vendor can also be sued under the public records law and attorney's fees attached to that, so can the county. So I want the county to be in charge, to the extent I can, of making the final decision whether a record is or is not a public record, and is there or is there not an exemption. But sure, I'll be sure and add that in there, Commissioner Cream. And again, the exemption with HIPAA, that would be an exemption.
One of the things that was in section 8, it talked about the reimbursement for services, and it says, Air Method bills patient directly and provides service regardless of ability to pay. How are we going? To me, I think they're probably, and I don't know if we need to put this in the contract, but we need to be kind of transparent on the billing rates.
I'll defer to
the structure of the charge.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, Air Methods. Well, first of all, we don't. It'll be Air Methods billing the patient like they do right now. You know, so they already have if they fly you out, they're gonna send you a bill. But you know, there is no contract with us for billing between us and Air Methods, Weems, because it's really a neutral contract. You know, no money is exchanged, no reimbursement per se. It's just Air Methods. If they pick you up, they're gonna bill you. Now we probably can talk with them and see if they need to scratch this session out, because this really don't have reimbursement services. Should be a part of our agreement with them, because it's a zero neutral contract.
And lastly is, that I have, is about our 1-year initial term that they're asking for with the automatic renewal. Are we bound to automatic renew with them each year?
No, we're not bound. I mean, we can put.
That's what's in the contract, though, correct?
Yeah, we can put something in the contract about.
Yeah, because what I don't want to happen is I guess with any contract is automatic renew and the rates go up and and it's automatic renewed. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to be able to come back before this board and see why those rates are up.
Yeah, now going back here again, this contract, there is no rates in this contract, because this is.
But it's under, I think it's under your termination section.
17.
17.
Yeah, 17, yeah. And so we can add a 30, because each party should really be able to terminate the contract within 30 days. But there is no rates of financial impact with this contract. So, so the rates can't go up because there's no rates in this contract here with Air Methods.
I think I'm not comfortable with the automatic renewal.
Okay. Okay. And we can change that.
And I think that's probably gonna be my same thing with Multiview as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And the same thing with the public. I know we ain't there yet. I'm waiting to get there. We're talking about this one, but that's my issue with that. That's all I have for that.
Anything else?
Commissioner Cream, may I ask a question of clarification? Sometimes vendors don't like but they prefer having an automatic renewal, in which case I would like to build in a termination for convenience by either party. Would either one of those suit you, or do you just want them to not have an automatic renewal?
What do you mean by convenience?
If you have a termination for convenience provision in the contract without cost or penalty, what that means, and usually I'll try and build in, it could be 60 days, it could be 6 months, just sort of depending on the nature of the service. For example, if we do 60 days and then something changes in the nature of this preferred provider agreement that's on the table today, for example, they change the rates to the citizens for the flights, and the board decides it is objecting to that, then you could just invoke the 60-day termination for convenience to end the preferred provider agreement, as opposed to
I got you.
Not having an automatic renewal.
Yeah.
So
I'm fine with 60 or 90, whatever.
Okay.
I actually had that written down, 60 or 90.
Yes, sir.
For that.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Anyone else?
think y'all covered most of my questions.
We're getting there, right?
Yeah. It's amazing what'll happen when you just sit here and be quiet. Most of it will get answered.
So we did have a motion and second we were discussing, correct?
Not that-
We didn't, okay, that's what I'm trying to catch up. We don't have a standard on doing that, so what's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion
All right.
with
The changes
changes.
discussed?
Yeah, subject to the,
Contingent.
I was taking notes.
Upon-
I was
yes.
taking notes of expanding the landing zones, adding chapter 119 contract language, term and termination, either, and perhaps both, no auto renewal, and termination for convenience.
Yes.
Okay, I'm confused. I got lost. All right, what about the indemnification language? Where were we at? What?
The motion, as I would interpret it, and subject to correction from the commissioner, is it would be to approve the contract with the indemnification
Okay.
and the additional changes that he's made as a condition of his motion. Is that correct,
That's
Commissioner
correct.
Pruitt?
That clears it up. That's where I got lost in the fog, so
All right, so we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Here we have a second by Commissioner Amison to Commissioner Croom's motion. Any additional discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's a 5-0 vote.
The third item is the multi-view agreement. This is a financial operations system that would allow interactive dashboards for leadership, advanced budgeting, forecasting, and real-time reporting, accounts payable, accounts receivable, materials, supply chain management. This is something that was recommended by Baker Tilly when they did their review, that we need to have an internal process for budgeting for our managers. In Central, this is the same thing with Air Methods. Multiview pretty much agreed to everything we wanted in the agreement. They removed the indemnification, but then they add the limitation of liability with the cap of $250,000. Attorney Schuler and I did talk about adding, instead of having an automatic renewal, adding some language in there, just what you just said earlier. But I wanted to get through with the $250,000 cap first, because if that's not approved, then, we don't have to worry about the termination language.
So, question, Mr. Walker. This software
Yes.
is what it is, what I'm taking it to be, has to do with financial reporting, accounts payables, accounts receivables. How is that going to mesh with the current software that the hospital is utilizing?
Yeah, it'll integrate with that, and what it would do, it will pull data from that system there, and make the dashboards more interactive. And what we have now, we have a reporting system, just that, the layman's like the manager, they probably it's not gonna really understand all the financial stuff in there, because it's all in there jumbled up at one time. You really gotta know what you're looking at. With this particular system, it'll strike stuff from that system. And then the financial impact is $27,000, but we'll get 40% back of that cost on the cost report. So we'll probably be paying about $16,000 a year for this particular grant.
So how much are we currently paying for the software that does these things?
The software that we have now is like integrated with our electronic health records, and really that software is included with our billing system. So the billing system, they get like 8% of how much we bill per month. So that software is pretty much included. The financial software is included with our electronic health record billing system now.
Right, but I'm just going by what you have listed here. You're saying this new software is going to be for accounts payables, accounts receivables. How is that going to interact with your billing system?
Yeah, what it would do, it will pull the accounts payable information out of our current billing system, electronic health record system now that we keep. And so that system would strike from that. It'll strike that data from that system and make it more in a real time, like a layman's term that you can begin to read and understand these.
So does it take all your financial information, billing, everything you have, and turn it into a dashboard that you and me?
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misunderstood that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry,
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to ask Mr. Walker.
So so we can understand it in a dashboard format, basically.
Okay.
I think, right?
Yeah, you're right, because right now, you look at it, you really got to know the system, what we have now.
Oh,
really
you're
know.
telling me?
Yeah. I mean, even me, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, even me got to understand that.
Mr. Chairman, I think too, what this software also does, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Walker and I were discussing this yesterday, one of the biggest, as he said, dings we got from when we got an audit was the departments, like the respiratory, radiology, all these departments that were pulling from one big pot.
Yes.
And there was no way to track the cost of each department,
Yes.
what they were spending. So this will kind of clarify all that and make it more streamlined, where say the respiratory department spending X amount of money, they've got this in their budget, they've exceeded that, that's going to help with that, in my opinion, them to have their own budgets to be able to ascertain how to run their departments.
It is. So I'm assuming from that your budget is going to change. The way it looks, the way it's labeled out, it's going to change. That's the reason I was asking to begin with.
Yeah. And so we don't run into an issue we did on another software with another department. Can your board of directors, will they have access to this dashboard?
Yeah,
so that they can see it prior to a meeting to ask questions? And
Yeah,
stuff
yeah, they
like
should
that?
have. Yeah, they should have access to that dashboard because they came and did a review to the board of directors. They showed them certain things, and this would be helpful too, because the board of directors, when we have our financial meetings, finance committee meetings, we're looking through a lot of papers,
Yes.
stuff like that. But now they can look through the dashboard
Yep.
and begin to see what's going on with that.
Okay.
Good. It's not, so I guess where I was heading, I want to make sure it was not privileged information that only certain people can see and others can't.
Now, the only thing that would be for a hospital, the only privilege stuff we will have is patient identification stuff. But
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question though, and I did not ask you this yesterday. I thought about it after we got off the phone, but then I had to prepare for last night, so I kind of just let it go because I knew you was gonna be here today. This software, any upgrades and software support, is that included? I didn't see in the contract.
yeah, it's just they'll provide software updates, support to us, but then also our team at Weems, what I mean, they if it needs to be an update, sometimes you hit a button and things get updated. But first of all, they have to train us in the software, what I mean. But we'll have some super users, at the hospital.
Okay, but my question is, I guess, when you say people at the hospital, are you talking like your current?
The finance team, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we have a current
But-
finance team.
But software, like if there's a virus or
Oh, no,
there's-
okay, that would have to go through, like Kevin Ward, our Eagle Tree
Okay.
technology, you know what I mean, they will monitor that
And
kind
is
of
he
stuff.
familiar with this type of software that might he be able to, if something happen, that he'd be able to address it and fix it? Or is this something that we would have to go back to this company, if it's proprietary software, that we would have to go back and, I don't know, pay them a fee or whatever?
Well, is it cloud-based or is
Yeah.
it going to be held on a server
No.
at the hospital?
Yeah, it'll be, I think this could be cloud-based.
Yeah, then you're
You know,
good.
so we'll be good. So Kevin will monitor that anyway, so if something seems like it's gonna try to come in, you know what I mean, they'll kick that out.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I had a question. Attorney Schuler, under page 6, 10.2, about terms and subscriptions, the agreement. Of course, this one does say automatically renew annually on the anniversary of the cloud development date for additional 12 months. I think I would like to have that termination for convenience on that, because if not, it does say multi-view may increase the fees.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
So we either at that convenience or 60 or 90 days to that one as well. That's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Well, Commissioner, can I ask a question? To go on what you're saying, if it's gonna be something that's an annual, there's money involved, and there's ever going, and I don't know if it's something that should be put in the contract or not, but if the fee is ever going to go up, I think we need to be made aware of that ahead of time so we can vote on it ahead of time, or whoever's here. You know what I mean? That doesn't
Absolutely.
need to be something at the last minute, oh, well, you're past the time to notice it, but it's going up this year and you're just gonna have to pay more. If there's a way to put that in there, I think that needs to be added as well. So if the fees are going up, at least can be acknowledged by the board,
Knowledge,
voted on by the
absolutely.
board.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what's going on. That's all.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Wright.
to follow on with that, if I can, Mr. Chairman, both informed and if you disagree, the option to terminate the contract
Yes.
before the fees increase. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
With the same provision to terminate. but-
Same one from,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
And my last thing is on section 4.2. It says requires client to pay multi-view collection costs and legal fees, but section 11.5 says each party shall pay its own attorney fees, and it reference section 8.
Yes, my
Section 8
recollection,
is left blank, so that probably need to be taken out.
let me talk through this, because I'm trying to remember as we're chatting. As I recall with that contract, they had essentially that collections provision with an attorney's fee provision, and then further down in the contract, which I believe is the section you referenced in paragraph 11, where each party pays their own attorney's fees. I believe that I added a sentence at the end of that paragraph 11 that said, basically, each party pays their own attorney's fees, notwithstanding any other provision to the provision in the contract contrary. And what that means is that if they try to collect and seek attorney's fees, then the prevailing party or the prevailing language in paragraph 11 would not allow them to collect attorney's fees. But if you think that's not clear enough, I'll be happy to clarify.
Yeah, that's not it.
Okay.
It referenced 8.4. 8.4 is left blank.
Do you have that kind of?
So I think we need to strike through.
Well, 8.48
Oh,
says
that was-
it's
that
blank
was-
intentionally, though.
There was
Right.
identification.
But on
just don't know
11.5 it
as far as
says,
language.
but not necessarily limited to paragraphs 4.2 and 8.4. That's what it says.
Yeah, I'll have to re-review that, Commissioner, but what is the goal that you're wanting to make? Because as I recall with Multiview, all the identifications were totally taken out of the contract. What they're relying on and what they're seeking is what they refer to as a limitation of liability. I wanted to limit that to the amount being paid to them each year, which I think is around $30,000. They did not want to agree to that, saying it was too low. They wanted that number to be at $250,000. And what they're really looking at, what they're concerned about with that limitation is essentially theft of their intellectual property. That somebody, and I'm not a computer person, so I'm not quite sure if I'm using the right terminology, but they're afraid somebody on the county side of this contract will decompile and somehow take their intellectual property and use it to create their own software. And so they want to be able to seek liability. Yeah, I know, that was the same thought that I had.
Wrong county.
Yeah, yeah.
I even said, I can't do that myself.
But-
So with that, Attorney Schuler, it reference, what I'm saying is reference a non-existent section 8. So
Let me-
it's like, I think we need to remove the 8 to avoid any kind of ambiguity.
Or either remove the reference to 8.
Oh, the reference to 8.
Remove the reference
Yeah,
to
remove
8.
that reference.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is on page, it's 11.5, and it's the second sentence from the last, from the bottom. That's all I was saying.
Okay, yes, I see what you're
I
talking
think
about.
that's all
Yes.
I had on, that's all I had.
Makes
on
perfect
both.
sense now that I have the paperwork in front of me.
All right, makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, we will remove the reference to 8.4 in section, paragraph 11.5.
Correct.
I have one more question, Mr. Walker, about the
Yes.
software.
Yes, sir.
I'm for it. I have no problem with it. I do want to know, though, is there any cost that's going to be incurred for the onboarding procedure, for training staff, for actually getting it all online? Or is this yearly fee cover it all?
The yearly fee covered all.
Okay, that's good.
And Mr. Wright, I have a question too. The maintenance of the software, is that gonna be maintained by Eagle Tree? I mean, is it their maintenance that has to be, or is it just updates?
It just updates, like anything else. Most of these softwares, they may roll out an update internally, for certain things with it.
If it's cloud-based, Commissioner,
Yeah.
usually, yes.
They may- okay.
maintain it there and-
I just wanna make sure, with all the cybersecurity stuff, I don't want,
Yeah.
anyway.
So it'll be updates that Multiview itself are publishing and putting out.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve contingent on the changes per Commissioner Croom's request.
Okay,
I second that motion.
Before you vote, may I clarify? I want to make sure, because we did a lot of talking, I want to make sure I have it correctly. Chairman Jones' comment was that if the fees go up, then the board is to be informed so that you can make a decision whether to agree. There will be no automatic renewals and a termination for convenience with 60 to 90 days. Either one's good with the board. And then to remove the reference to paragraph 8.4 that the Commissioner Froome mentioned is in 11.5. Did I get that correctly and completely?
That's what I have written down.
I'm sorry?
That's what I have written down.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So we have a motion made by Commissioner Ward. It was seconded by Commissioner Croom. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's a 5-0 vote. Anything else, Mr. Walker?
Yeah, just quickly, I have two information items. There's a grant, the Florida Rural Health Transformation Application Agency for Healthcare Administration has submitted a grant, and it's part of the One Big Beautiful Bill. It's $200 million per year, and so it's for the rural counties. ACA, which is Agency for Healthcare Administration, they are the custodians of that particular grant. The executive leadership team of ACA will be at Weems on December 5th at 11 o'clock to meet with stakeholders and have a question and answer about this particular grant. This is going to be very huge for the county. I gave you just a brief snippet of what Florida Hospital Association put out, and this gives you an idea of the different categories that this grant is looking to fund. Friday, when we meet with ACA, when they're here, we'll find a lot more about this particular program, but it's very huge for this particular county, especially the rural counties. EMS, community paramedicine program, they're gonna get some good money out of this. You have rural and satellite clinics, mobile health units, tele-specialties, imaging, virtual specialty clinics, we get some money. Workforce development, retail clinics. I have a question in the ACA when I see them Friday to see if we can use any of these funds, to try to do this Carabel retail clinic in Carabel as well. This is very exciting for our community, and one of the great things about it is that the Deputy Secretary reached out to me and said, hey, David, would you host this event at your hospital? So I thought that was great. So we have a seat at the table. Anytime money's like this is coming out, we want to make sure we have a seat at the table. And then somebody told me the other day, said, well, the table is coming to you. I'm like, yeah. So we're excited about that. I'll make sure we bring more information to you. If you want to attend the event, please come out as well. That'll be Friday at 11 o'clock at Weems.
All right.
This Friday?
What was that date, Mr.
Yeah, this Friday, December 5th.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I was gonna go, but my schedule had to change at work because I had to be here last night, so I had to do some finagling, so I got to miss a couple things going on that same day to have to work.
11.
But thanks for, Mr. David, thanks for letting us know about this. I hope that we can get some funding from this. It'll be interesting to see how all that goes. I guess with that also, Michael, is there a way we can do a letter of support for this? Or is that, how does that work?
Yeah, what happened is once we start going through the process, because they're going to have regional collaboratives, all these rural hospitals got to work together now, and not only hospitals, but health centers. And then I'm thinking that we probably need a lot of support from the county as well. And so, like I said, it's going to be very good for us that we have a seat at the table with the money and different things going out.
Well, Mr. Chairman, whenever you're ready for the letter of support, if the other board members are agreeable, I think we should come back and definitely, again, I don't think it's going to hurt. Might as well, I mean, this is a lot of money here. It looks like 41 million to our region. I know that's going to be split, but if we could get, I mean, any money is good money if it's free, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. And so that's why it's very important to have the people that are custodians of the money coming down at our facility. So there's going to be some good conversation with that. And plus, we got a CT project we're trying to get through. I'm going to talk to ACA about that as well. And then the last thing is that, Senator Corey Simon filed this bill, the Rural Renaissance legislation. I'm sure you may have a copy of that. But on page, well, it's not a page, but the last 2 pages have some health-related items in this Rural Renaissance legislation bill. So just want to encourage your lobbyists, to probably support this legislation. The Senate President, of course, was behind it last year, but it got caught up in that Florida House and the Senate, the property taxes, and it still may get caught up again this year. But I can say that some of this stuff will pass, but we want to make sure that, you know, stuff that's in here get pushed through. It's going to be very beneficial, you know, to our county. And that's all. You know, I want to thank you all for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all you do for us.
Mr. Walker, I do have a question for you, because I had some conversations leading up this. Are these contracts, this may be actually for both you and Attorney Schuler, are y'all taking these contracts to the hospital board?
Yeah.
And they're reviewing?
Yeah, the hospital board get it before you all get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I can,
Oh,
I can
oh, I'm sorry.
confirm that. You didn't see I was back there.
No, I did.
I can confirm the board has looked at it, and we have determined that these things, when we get to that point, we review it, we look at it, and we vote on it, and then it's brought to you. So we're not in the dark at all.
Okay.
So all these have been voted on, I guess was the question.
Yes.
Y'all have voted on them? Okay.
Yes.
And this Bill Zessa, he's the chair right up.
I'm the vice chair, and then I'm head of the finance committee, right?
Yeah, he's head of the money committee.
All right, good.
No,
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioners, y'all have any other questions? Mr. Walker, thank you for your
All right,
time.
thank you all.
Mr.
Have a
Bill.
great day.
Thank you.
Let's take a 5-minute recess and we'll come back and do P and Z. Franklin County Commission is now back in session. Now we're going to our PZNA board report. Ms. Bree Robinson, County Planner, go ahead.
All right, so we have quite a few items to get through. We have October monthly items as well as November. The first 3 October items are all very similar, similar requests, same ownership and same representation. So I had spoken to the chairman if we could handle those as a consent item.
And Commissioners, unless there's one you want to pull to discuss, they've already been grouped together. They're all very similar, as the planner has said. I did confirm with her that all 3 of these places are residences. They have houses, because all 3 of them have powered boat lifts. So, but if there are any things you want to discuss, we can do that, or what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve with a note that they are existing, so they're basically fixing something that was already there.
Yes.
So I just want to make that a note for the record, but with that, I'll approve these 3 items.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve 17A, B, and C.
Second.
That motion was by Commissioner Ward. That motion has been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Commissioners, do y'all have any additional discussion on these items? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Robinson, go ahead with item 18.
All right, so next we have a rezoning and land use change application for 595 Highway 98. This is a consideration of a request to schedule a public hearing to change the parcel zoning from C1 commercial fishing to R4 single-family home industry in the future land use from commercial to residential. Property is located in East Point, Florida. Request submitted by the Hall Team, LLC, Taylor Hall applicant. And I believe Taylor is on the call. We need him.
I want to ask a question. I didn't realize we had C1 property that far down there.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they did either.
Because that's a commercial seafood designation from decades ago. I did not realize it went that far down from East Point.
Mr. Chairman,
Can you hear me by chance?
Yeah, hold 1 second, Taylor. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
if I can, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Mr. Hall. I think Mr. Robinson spoke with him first and then had him call me.
Yes.
Or maybe he called me first and told me the problem he was having is that he wanted to construct essentially a residential size dock on his property, but he had found out that the property across the street, because he lives on 98 at the corner, across the street he has a small strip of land that he thought was residential, like the house was that he bought. Turns out, after reviewing his own review and then me conferring with Ms. Robinson, the little strip of land across the street is commercial, which limits the size of the dock that he can construct. It's the way I understand it. He wants a bigger dock. If I'm misremembering that, correct me. But so what he wants to do is to request a public hearing to change the land use and the zoning of the property from commercial to residential, so he can then have a residential dock to go with his house. That's what he's up to.
So it's not the entirety of the property, it's the south side that's still zoned
the
differently.
south side of 98, and it's just this tiny little strip of land.
Okay.
The red strip there.
Well, I'm in favor of anybody having a chance at a public hearing.
Yeah, this is just a public hearing
That's what the process is
request.
for.
And that's all we're doing is voting
Yes.
to send this to a public hearing.
Yes.
So with that, I'll make that motion.
All right, so we have a motion to approve this being scheduled for a public hearing.
Second.
By Commissioner Ward, it has been seconded by Commissioner Croom. Any additional discussion, Commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Ms. Bray?
All right, so the next application is for the same property, 595 Highway 98. This is the actual site plan for the dock for approval. It is a consideration of a request to construct a new 5,000 square foot dock consisting of a 4 by 80 square feet access walkway and a 10 by 18 square feet terminal platform. Property is located in East Point, Florida. Request submitted by Macaira Construction Group, agent for the Hall Team. The P&Z board did make a motion to approve this contingent upon the rezoning and land use change.
Okay, that's what I was just fixing to ask. Okay, because it seems, I mean,
Premature.
we have to have the hearing first.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Commissioner, what I was going to suggest to you is you have two options. The first option is what you just
Contingent.
heard as a recommendation. Second option, if the board, and this entirely board discussion, or board discretion, you could just table consideration of this matter until you conclude the public hearing and then make your decision after the public hearing. Either way works, it's board discretion.
So let me ask you a question. If it were to be to table it, that is not gonna send it back to P and Z again?
No, sir.
And go through that whole process? Because
That's not my
we're doing
intention.
2 months at one time.
Right.
We're
That
actually
is-
didn't hold a
that is
meeting.
not my intention.
That's why, okay, that's why.
It's board discretion. If you're more comfortable making it
Okay.
an approval contingent on the land use and rezoning, either way works.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I believe if we just made it contingent on the public hearing, that would be a quicker stream, upstream, so to speak.
Right.
So-
That was actually the recommendation I made at P and Z. I just
Right.
thought I
And they
would-
voted four to nothing in
Yes.
favor of that.
I'll make the motion
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Amison to approve, contingent upon the ability to have it changed, the zoning changed.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Amison. Commissioner Ward, y'all, it's been a long couple of days.
You sure got pretty now.
Are there any more discussion before we vote? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
So, Mr. Chairman, you didn't have any questions for Taylor, then I could just,
No,
mute him
I
again?
don't guess, I mean. none-
Wait until
none
the
came
public
up.
hearing.
I mean, unless he wants to say something.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's gonna have a public hearing, but yeah, if he wants to say something, that's up to him.
I guess he's good.
Okay,
Okay.
it's all good. Go ahead, Ms. Brooks.
All right, so now we're moving into the November agenda items. First, we have a critical shoreline application for 305 West 8th Street. This is a consideration of a request for the removal of the existing 487 square feet of dock and installation of a new 1,266 square feet, single-family dock consisting of 668 square feet of dock and 598 square feet of covered boat lift. Property is located on St. George Island. Request submitted by James Barrett with Florida Environmental and Land Services, Inc., agent for Keith Newton, applicant. This property is vacant, so the P&Z board made a motion to recommend approval contingent, with the boat lift power contingent upon commencement of construction of the single-family residence on the lot. And I believe James is on the call.
So let me ask you a question with that. And I don't dispute what the PZ&A board has done. I thank them for their service. I just know in the logistics of things, whenever they start to, did you say it was contingent upon them starting to build a house or having a house built?
The motion was upon commencement of construction.
Okay. Because once Duke Energy gives them power, they're not gonna care about where we're at in the process. That's the only reason I'm bringing that up. I mean, if that's something that the building department's comfortable with, that, I have no issue with that. I know that is something that's changed since I've been on this board. When I first got on this board, you could get a $50 permit could get you temporary power, and it created all kind of problems for Franklin County. And consistently, in the last several years, what we have attempted to do is to not have any boat lift or anything that's permitted without a residence. So as long as you're comfortable and the building department's comfortable that they're actually gonna commence before they get this power, I'm good with that. But that's where the onus is gonna lay. So I just wanna make sure everybody's aware of that.
Do you want,
And the motion needs to reflect that.
Yes, it does.
do you want me, I'll mute Mr. Barrett so you could get some guarantees from him?
Well, I mean-
Mr. Chairman?
No, it'd be contingent.
You can, but in other words, this should be contingent upon that, is like what they did, correct?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're on singing off the same sheet of music, that's all I'm saying.
Let's make sure he understands.
Okay, that's fine.
So-
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question for Ray while he's unmuted.
Hold on, James.
Can you define commencement? Is that just pulling a permit, or is
I
that
would-
breaking ground?
I would believe that means
We do.
breaking ground. One thing I will say is, I believe it was a couple months ago, we had a similar situation come up before us, And I believe that motion was not for commencement of construction, but it was for approval of permanent power to the site, which meant they were far enough along in the
Right.
building
Right.
that they were approved for permanent power, and then they could do the boat lift. So that
Yes.
might be the better
I like
pathway.
that better.
And
But yes.
Mr. Chairman, James is on mute in case you have questions for him.
Hi, good morning, board. What we were aiming for was a contingent permit aiming for hooking up the dock when the single-family residence got hooked up to the main grid.
Right, so it's just, okay.
We are currently, they've got the geotech process already done, and they have plans already drafted. He is supposed to be submitting that plans for review to the county within the next week or two.
Okay.
So he is planning on building a single-family residence, and we are understanding that we're not getting power to the dock. We just want to build the dock before we built the house, because it's kind of hard to get all that equipment back there.
It is.
If there's a house there.
Yes, sir, we understand. We're just trying to make sure that we're being consistent and we're also not having a bunch of vacant property with power to it, because that creates other problems. Not that you would do that or who you represent would do that, but that's just what we're trying to head off. So I do like the language that Ms. Robinson just said.
Yeah.
It's still reflected the same way, but it's clearer language, I guess is what I'm saying. So it's still contingent on doing that. So at the point in time that they are getting permanent power to the residents, they would be able to do the powered part of the dock or the boat lift. I'm good with that language. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve with the contingent, with the information on it.
All right.
I would have to it.
I'll
So
second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders with the contingencies we've been speaking about, and has been seconded by Commissioner Amison. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Ms. Brady.
All right, next we have a variance request application for an existing seawall at 1241 Alligator Drive. This is a consideration of a request by the property owner applicant to bring the current seawall into compliance. Applicant recently purchased the property where riprap and fill were placed on the water side of the property by the previous owner. Applicant states that the existing seawall, which falls within the CCCL, is necessary to help prevent further erosion from occurring in this area and prevent damage to the existing home. Existing seawall consists of 1,368 square feet and approximately 40 cubic yards of lime rock riprap, is all placed above the mean high water line. Property is located in Alligator Point. Request submitted by Courtney Ashley with Florida Environmental and Land Services, Inc., agent for David Getchell, applicant. E&Z did make a motion to approve of this item. There is a note, however, that the recommendation of approval was made as a retroactive approval contingent upon required permits being received. Both a Florida DEP permit and letter of no objection is required prior to a building permit being issued. Staff noted that if the permitting process requires modification to the existing riprap or fill, that the revised design would return back to the board for review and approval.
Okay. Yeah. Are they, so they're saying it's in the existing CCCL. Are they just saying that the property is washed away? So it's therefore put it in that area?
Exactly. It's protecting from
Okay.
erosion, and it's
Right.
already there.
Right.
It didn't go through the proper process, so they're just trying to go back and
Okay.
get everything permitted correctly.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, and this is a variance request, which requires a hardship. In my opinion, if a homeowner is trying to protect their property, and it looks like these people, I guess they're new owners, but they're trying to fix something that the previous owners had to come into compliance. I feel like personally that's a hardship to protect their home and to protect their investment. So, but do we have to, a question on the retroactive approval, does this need to be two separate motions? One for the approval and one for the retroactive approval?
I'm looking where it says retroactive. Hang on.
I would say more so that was just a note for the applicant.
Okay.
You could approve the variance. The situation that staff was put in is that the applicant requested a letter of no objection to send into the state so they could get their state permits. And those letters basically say the county has no problem with this, it meets code as it is, but it doesn't because it requires that variance. So they had to come before you first to get that settled, and then we can issue the letter and they can move forward in permitting.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have a problem approving that, but I want to take on the recommendation of the P and Z too, though. The P and Z board.
You making a motion?
I made a motion to approve
Okay.
with the recommendation of the P and Z, with the recommendation of the P and Z on the permitting and the letters and stuff.
Okay.
Second.
So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Sanders' motion is consistent with the same motion made by the PZNA Advisory Board. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, so our next item is for a rezoning and future land use change for 216 Airport Road. This is a consideration of a request to schedule a public hearing to change the parcel zoning from A2 Forestry Agricultural District to C2 Commercial Business District, and the future land use designation from agricultural to commercial. Property is located in Carabel, Florida. Request submitted by Daniel Hartman, agent for Figure 8 Farms, LLC applicant.
How many acres is this?
I think it's 9 point something, it's under 10.
I was just looking.
Mr. Chairman, all we're doing on this is, again, recommending it go to a public hearing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Okay. We have a motion to approve going to scheduling a public hearing by Commissioner Ward. It has been seconded by Commissioner Amison and Commissioner Croom. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, go ahead, Ms. Bray.
All right, so next we have a variance request for 139 West Gulf Beach Drive. This is a consideration of a request to modify the 10-foot rear building setback along the alley to a 6-foot on the east portion of building and a 5-foot on the west portion of the building. Requesting a variance to protrude 5 and 4 feet into the rear setbacks. Property is located on St. George Island. Request submitted by Tulo Planning Group, agent for Gene Brown, applicant.
Okay. When you say the rear setbacks, in that piece of property, isn't there still an alley there somewhere?
There is an alley behind it,
Okay,
yes, sir.
so it's going actually to the south when you say rear setbacks. Talking about the south side of the property.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure what we're talking about. But trust me, some people, I learned that the hard way lately. Some people refer to the front of the house, not by where it's front of the road, but where they put their mailbox. It's not as clear as I thought it would be. That's why I asked.
You've got a problem on the island with that real bad,
Yeah,
Ricky.
yeah. It just, some people call it front or rear, and it might be a different way. Okay. Thoughts, discussions, pleasure of the board?
Can I add a note I forgot to
Okay.
say?
Okay.
The P&Z Board did make a motion to approve this variance based on the recommendation from Attorney Schuler, so
Mhm.
if you'd like to speak on that.
What was your recommendation, Attorney Sheila?
My recommendation was for approval. The footprint of the building is actually not going into the 10-foot setback. What happens, as I understand it, is when you get up to the second floor, the building cantilevers back towards the alley, and so what you have is an in-the-air encroachment of roughly 14 feet, 12 feet in the air, something
Total,
like that.
what you talking about?
So it's just the second floor,
Mhm.
goes up. It is an air encroachment into that 10-foot setback from the alley. And my reasoning for approval is it's consistent with prior practices of the board for those skinny mini lots on the island. Every one of those skinny minis has to have at least 2 variances to build a house. In this case, they're asking for one variance. Granted, it goes across, I think, 4 lots, but it's still just one variance instead of 2 per lot. Even though there is a difference in this case because it's a monolith structure as opposed to an actual skinny mini residence, but it seemed to me that the variance request was consistent with prior practices in granting variances to develop the skinny minis. In this case, 1 variance per lot instead of 2 variances per lot, and so therefore my recommendation was approval.
Well, let me ask you a question. I just want to know for myself, because we hadn't dealt with this before, as far as in the air encroachment. Is it a hazard to anything around that area being encroached in 14 foot in the air?
I've not made any safety determination. That's kind of
That's
outside
what I'm
of
saying.
my purview.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr.
I was
Chairman,
just wondering because it's kind of odd.
you do have a speaker card with a public comment for this
Oh,
particular
okay.
one.
Is Ms. Sanders online?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and unmute, sir. Proceed with her.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were telling me to unmute, and I'm like, what?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Okay, she's unmuted, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Ms. Barber.
Good morning, Barbara Sanders, St. George Island. Actually, you have dealt, at least informally, with a overhang encroachment, and the board said that they would not allow them, and they are not allowed. You can ask Mr. Patterson about that discussion. My interest in this is strictly quality of life on St. George Island. I have to drive through there to get on or off of the island, and the more intensive the development becomes in that downtown section, the more hassle it will be. It doesn't just affect me, anybody in Franklin County who wants to go to the beach, bring the kids to the playground. They're not going to have places to park or to get to the reason we enjoy St. George Island. The history of this building, while you're looking at on the screen, this was a 1-story concrete building back in the day when the water company first started. They used to have their big aerator on top. At some point, and I don't know the exact dates of anything, but it was remodeled because they built a new building and they got a tower and they put in a lot of infrastructure and for the water company. So this structure goes across the front of the property, and that would be the south side, Mr. Jones, the back side, or the northwest side is where the actual alley is. But so that building was turned into office downstairs, and I believe there are 2 units upstairs. That I don't know where the parking is for that building, but currently it's been hardscaped on the right-of-way in front of that, which contributes to some of the runoff problems that you're now spending a lot of money on down in the middle of the island. So what's happening is they want to take the backyard, basically, that fronts on the alley, and build a rather large condominium structure. I believe it is 3 stories, so the encroachment starts at the 2nd floor, but it goes all the way up to the whole 3-story. I'm sorry, the top 2 stories encroach. It sounds like a de minimis encroachment. What happened was we went to planning and zoning previously, and planning and zoning found no hardship. Rachel Chestnut was there, David Duncan was there, there was no hardship. It went to this board and it got sent back to see if it could be redone so that the variance wasn't required. As I understand it, they did make a few modifications. They took out the stairway. I believe they moved the big building more close to the other building, which their architect made it sound like, that's not a health hazard, but that's not something I understand either. Now, your planner, quite rightfully, is requiring the right number of parking spaces, and you see those on the west side. And then across the alley, there are some more parking spaces on a lot currently owned and a half lot owned by the applicant. And what hasn't happened yet is there has to be a unity of title. And I thought that the P&Z, I listened to the meeting, was contingent on getting that. I haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. It would be a document that would say forevermore in perpetuity, you can't use that lot across the street or across the alley for building that lot and a half. Sorry, it's half of two lots in one whole small lot. But that in perpetuity, you wouldn't be able to build something on that. So I don't think it's ripe for you to decide to grant this variance, which I'm going to get to the grounds for that. I noticed the detail y'all use when you have documents in front of you, how carefully you read them. But when you don't have a document, I don't know how you could say that the contingency has been met. So at this last P&Z, which I couldn't attend, your planning and zoning did not find a hardship. They skipped over that, and instead of finding a hardship, they said, well, we have prior practice of allowing setback encroachments in these, I think particularly the skinny mini lots. You have a lot of those lots downtown, and if you're going to have you don't have to have variance, we'll just give you whatever encroachment you need for the marketability of your building because you want to maximize your profit, then we need to stop and make that policy so that the future construction on those lots is known to everyone. But to just say, well, we let the guy next door have a variance, we're going to let you have a variance, is not good practice. The guy next door, I said it before, it was a net decrease in density. He went from, he reduced the number of houses that he wanted to put on his lot. This is actually a re-subdivide of an already platted property where we are building more on 4 lots than we could have if we built 4 houses. And I understand they're adding in that other property on the other side of the alley, which is underneath the water tower, if you go over there and look at it.
Ms. Sanders, please wrap it up. Thank you.
Well, I just would like for you to either table it until you see the unity of title documents or not approve it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And I only did that, Ms. Barber, because you were already almost at the 7-minute mark. All right.
Is there any more public comment?
I do not know of any. The only other person that has one filled out is Ms. Gale. She hasn't raised her hand to flag me down, so so there's not, no.
Okay, if there's no more public comment.
Yes, you can ask all the questions you want.
Bree, this is an existing building, right? Or is it existing? The building
There is an existing building. What he's wanting to build and what the variance is for is another structure behind it.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. And he's gonna meet the 47-foot height restriction, right?
He has to, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. I was reading here on the septic tank stuff because I was looking at the aerobic system, and the aerobic system calls for 3,000 gallons of aerobic system, and down here it says there will be 5 dwelling units with a total of 13 bedrooms with those 5 units, and it was 26 people, all total 2 per bed. I was just reading to make sure he had this enough stuff, but it, okay, that's what I want to make sure he's the 47 foot.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Ms. Bree.
I'd like to just respond to a couple of things that Ms. Barber said,
Okay,
if that's
that's
okay.
fine.
She did make some comments in regards to parking requirements and stormwater. those are applicable to the site plan. Right now, we're discussing the variance, so if you want to discuss it all at once, I guess we could.
No.
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 So I assume we'll discuss the variance, and then when we move to the site plan portion, we'll kind of get into the weeds on those specifics.
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
You brought up a point in looking at this, and I didn't realize this the last time we discussed this. The property, there's primary structure there, and so this is a secondary structure on the same property? Does that go against our?
It could be considered the same property, but it's property that originally had an alley in between it. Isn't that correct?
Is it two separate pieces of property or one?
It's all one site plan, one development.
I'm waiting to be recognized.
Attorney Schuler.
Go ahead, sir.
Because I wanted to address those issues. Two issues are on the table. One is the variance request. The second is the site plan. And frankly, I agree with Ms. Barber. I've already spoken with the applicant earlier this week. We have to table the site plan issue, which is one of the two issues, but they're separate issues. Because the dedication agreement, and it's been referred to variously as a unity of title agreement. I tend to refer to it sometimes alternately as a dedication agreement or a restrictive covenant. That's required for the site plan. The P&Z's recommendation of approval for the site plan is conditioned upon that agreement. That agreement has not yet been finalized. I have sent a draft to the applicant and the applicant's attorney. We've chatted about it a little bit, but we don't have it in final form. So I agree with Barbara, until that document is in final form to come back before you, then we don't need to address the site plan. The variance is a different matter. The variance is just an approval to encroach into the setback as stated in the application. It's good for 1 year, and if the site plan is not approved, well, then the variance doesn't really mean a whole lot. But in any event, I'm not anticipating any problems with the dedication agreement. I think we're, in my estimation, I'd say we're probably like 90% in agreement. There's just a couple of outstanding items that the applicant wants to discuss with me about the concerns that he has. I can't comment on what my response to that's going to be because I haven't really seen his concerns yet. But I am going to recommend, when we get to it, tabling the site plan because of what I just described. But Ms. Robinson and I did discuss the variance issue, and we were both in agreement to present the variance request to the board for your decision here this morning. And again, with my recommendation of approval on the variance request.
Okay. Does that answer your questions, Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Did that answer your questions?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. So, any other questions, or what's the pleasure of the board?
I will say this, and looking at a hardship, and we beat a dead horse with that. This whole practice versus policy thing, and I spoke about this before. We need to get out of the practice, because again, we're not always going to be on this board. Our practice, what we think, may be different than a board that comes after us. So we need to either stick with one thing or go to the other. I do agree with that. It's either we're going to go by practice and just do it however, or we're going to go by what's written in our policy moving forward. If we need to change the language about what we consider a variance, I'm all for that. Is that something that we can work on? Because me as a commissioner, I've been here 5 years, I'm tired of the practice versus policy. We either gonna go by our policy, or we don't need a policy at all. We just need to throw all of our policies out the window if we're gonna go by practice. We need to be consistent, we need to be concise, so that there's no confusion when an applicant comes before P&Z or our boards for votes, that there's any confusion, there's any ambiguity, none of that. So we need to make a stand right now, depending on how this goes today. I, as a Commissioner Ward, 1 of 5, want to make sure we throw that practice out the window, or we throw our policy out the window and go by what we as a board and what planning and zoning uses, because at the end of the day, Bree may not always be here. She needs that, whoever's sitting in her seat needs to have a clear and concise way to make decisions, so that when she's presenting, or whoever's presenting, knows what to say and how to say it. Because she don't know what we think are thinking either. I just, that's my thought.
I believe in that
We
too.
just need to get that out of our head altogether. Practice versus policy.
The only issue with what you're talking about, this is a little bit different than any other thing you deal with. So a variance request is an ask by a property owner for a consideration. If you make it a policy, you're not voting on it anymore. Staff's moving whatever you vote on. If you want to make it a policy that if you're building on the commercial district in St. George Island, there's 25-foot wide lots, you automatically get 2 variances, take your pick. Staff's going to run with that, and you'll never vote on it again. So do you want it to continue to come to the board and us to have weigh in on it? Or, because if you make it a policy, that's something staff should be able to do. It's not something that should even come to us anymore. And I don't think variances should be something that's not voted on by this board. That's my only thing.
And I'm okay with
Yeah,
that, Mr.
yeah.
Chair. But again, we have it in our zoning code. That's what I'm saying. If anything, something needs to be changed on how we define a variance.
Right.
Because it is kind of ambiguous with all these sections, A, B, C, D, E, F. Because, you know, I've started too, that this particular applicant has the same rights that the other ones are surrounding him have. So, you know, when I'm basing a decision, that's what I look at. So is that considered a hardship? You know, according to our zoning code, it is. But I know it's been practiced to do certain things. I'm all about, I don't want to tell somebody what they can and can't do with the property. I want to have some control in terms of what they are requesting, special variance, what have you. Yes, oversight is good, but again, practice versus what's written, to me, is a little different. We can change the policy to reflect what it's going to be easier for staff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Maybe I was overthinking my response.
But I agree with Commissioner Ward, but what we need to do is set a time and a date, and don't let this applicant get caught up in it, you know, because we're trying to think of something. If he needs a thing, it's an existing thing. It's already had one. So, I mean, what do you do with it?
And I mean, what's a hardship, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
again, we have these conditions here, but there are multiple different ones that could mean the same thing. So,
Right.
and I've heard, that's not the first time I've heard practice versus policy. And we need to either do one or the other. That's all I'm saying, just for clarity, not only for us, but for our staff.
Okay.
So I don't know what we need to do to move forward with that,
Well-
but that's my request.
Actually, we've started that process, one with ARPC, and then after that, the discussion you had at some point with Bree talking about engaging a lawyer to help us go past what ARPC is doing, where they're just fixing references to languages and certain codes that are beyond that, merging practice and policy, which one is better for the county at this time? You know,
But
so
what's
yes,
before us today, Mr. Chairman, then is
Yes.
the variance.
just the
Yes.
variance, it
Yeah.
seems like.
That's what, yes.
And I'm sorry I went on a tangent, but I'm just.
No, you're good.
This is the third or fourth time this has come, we've had
Yes.
stuff come before our board that saes practice versus, we've heard precedents, you know,
precedents
we gotta, the buck stops here, we gotta do
I
it, we
agree.
gotta stop it.
Well,
Stop this practice.
if I may, the thing that presents a problem, I would say, not just for Mr. Brown, but for all the people that own property in the business district of the island, are the 25-foot lots. I know maybe the original intention decades ago, when none of us were involved, was to have a commercial area that resembles Appalachia, where it's all common walls. That would have worked, but that's not what we have. So that's somewhat what we're trying to do. But I agree with you. If there can be a better definition, but there's still, even with a better definition, there's still, in my mind and understanding, and I'm good, open to being corrected, there's still always going to be a process where an applicant can apply for a variance. And that's still going to require being heard by the PSNA board, still going to be required being heard by this board. So if we change the definitions, it's still going to be up to us to hash through variances.
But I don't think we ought to pick and choose. If we're gonna have that situation before us, I don't think that we ought to give it to them, but don't give it to them. I mean, you know, once you open, it's like a gentleman told me, once you open that door, it's open. So, I mean, and I'm not one to penalize somebody for that. And Mr. Brown is trying to, I guess, redo this property and make it to where it's accommodating to the people. And so, like I said, what we have to decide today is a variance, whether to allow them to do that or not.
Yep, so what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, while the board is thinking, I just want to let you know, just for the record, I believe Ms. Sanders had re-raised her hand. She said she had she exceeded her,
Oh, you're talking for the, well, that, Michael, she's already spoken with variance.
That's what I'm saying. You said she exceeded her time limit for the variance discussion.
I don't know if Mr. Brown wants to be recognized or not, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Brown, you're standing there, go ahead.
I would like to say a couple of words.
Yes, sir.
First of all, with regard to the variance, I pointed out to the Planning Commission, I think one reason they voted to approve the variance was that after Mr. Schuler said the practice has been to allow these variances for these 25-foot lots, I went back and he said he'd researched it for 30 years and this should be approved because that was the practice. I looked at it for 10 years and I found 43 variance requests very similar to mine, and in 42 of those, the board never mentioned hardship. In one, they mentioned hardship, and that was the one they turned down. So it just, from my side of the table, it just seemed like when you want to turn something down, we discuss hardship. If you want to approve it, you just approve it and ignore the law on that. Now, I've got 5 lots, and I wanted to build 4 small units. My neighbor to the west also has 5 lots. He wanted to build 4 units. He had to have 55 feet of setbacks on the ground level. All I'm asking for is a cantilevered 4 feet in one place and 5 feet at another place, and all that's up 14 feet in the air. And that's on the alley side behind a concrete wall that'll be built, so it has no effect on the public interest, won't affect flow of traffic or anything else. Right across the street, 6 months ago, you gave a variance for 20 parking. No, you required me to have 20 parking spaces, but that medical building required 12. You gave a variance of 10 places for him, and that's going to have a real effect because he's going to be parking, all those patients and doctors and nurses are going to be parking in the alley and on 2nd Street. So if these other variances are routinely granted, that is much more substantial, I really don't understand why my little 4-foot variance cannot be granted. And as far as tabling the other, I agree. I've reviewed Mr. Schuler's agreement and I've revised one. I've discussed it with him. I don't think we'll have a problem. I mean, he did a good agreement and I've just revised it.
Okay.
And so that's all I have to say.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Brown? Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I do have, I guess, another question in looking at this. It says that applicant submitted revised plans for the July meeting, later withdrawn, that lowered the variance request to less than a foot, which could establish a minimum standard. So does that mean that the applicant revised his plans to make a smaller footprint to ask for less of a variance?
Yes.
But he withdrew?
They did withdraw that, and then they went back to their original request.
Okay, so it can be smaller. But I understand too, I guess the reason, and I don't know if he, probably because he realized that he wasn't gonna get the best bang for his buck, in other words. I don't know if he wants to, can you respond to that, Mr. Chair?
Yep.
I should have asked him while I was up there, I'm sorry, I just missed it.
That variance would have required me to move these new buildings too close to the old building, and even though it met the fire code, I thought it would be too close. And also, it just would make them unmarketable. But, you know, I could build doll houses, or I could build a smaller building, but it just wouldn't be marketable. Just like the applicant to the west, he could have built shotgun houses. They build all over the island, but he wanted to build bigger houses. So in order for him to build those bigger houses, not shotgun houses, he needed these variances. So you gave him, on his 5 lots, next to my 5 lots, you gave him 55 feet of variances on the ground level, so he could build bigger. Now, what was his hardship? Was it a hardship not to be able to build shotgun houses?
Mr. Brown, which property are you referring to?
Bill Thomas.
So, Mr. Thomas, if my memory's right, 'cause I was sitting there trying to think of who you was referring to as you were saying it. If my memory's right, I think the reason Mr. Thomas was given those variances was he put 7 lots together to build 5 houses. So he wasn't building 7 houses, he was building less houses. I do remember us having that, I'm just trying to answer your question.
Well,
So I remember us having that discussion, and because he was asking for less than he actually could ask for, then we gave some and gave him a variance. I'm just trying to answer your question.
He owned lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He wanted to build 4 units.
Right.
But he wanted to build bigger houses.
Yes.
True, he could have built 5,
Mhm.
under your existing practice, he could have built 5 shotgun houses with all the setbacks.
Yep.
But he didn't want to do that, he wanted to build bigger units. And so to do that, he had to get 55 feet
Yeah.
and setbacks.
Yes, sir.
And I want to build 4 smaller units on my lots, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm in compliance all the way around the building everywhere, except on the alley side at 14 feet up. One side of the building is cantilevered out 4 feet, and the other side is cantilevered out 5 feet. 14 feet in the air.
Yep.
Has no effect on anything.
All right. Thank you,
But-
Mr. Jim. Did that answer your question, Commissioner?
Thank you.
So he's doing, Mr. Brown's doing the same thing Mr. Thomas did, and he's going the 4 for 5, just like Mr. Thomas went the 4 for 5. So I don't see no difference between one man or another man or woman or whoever wants it. If it's the same principles, what's the difference between the need of the variances between the 2 properties? What's the difference?
Another thing too, if I'm not mistaken, from what I'm gathering, this, correct me if I'm wrong, with Mr. Thomas, his variance was at ground level. This variance he's asking is above.
In the attic.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. How do you dictate the 14 foot in the attic? That's where I was having, you know, wanting to be clear on. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to grant this variance because the one next to it. I'm gonna go right on out there and do it because it's not right to do one and not do the other.
So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders,
I'll second with the comment.
second by Commissioner Ward. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I've been tossing around in my head a lot about this one, as I do everything that comes before this board. But I'm basing my decision on our zoning code, section C1C and D, which is the granting of variance requesting will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by this ordinance to other lands, buildings, or structures in the same zoning district. And then the literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of this ordinance and would work unnecessary and undue hardship on the applicant. So I know a lot of people might think, well, what's the hardship? That's my interpretation of what that hardship is. Since he's got people next door and across the way, which I denied Bill Thomas because I felt like it wasn't a hardship. But based on this, I'll second Commissioner Sanders' motion.
All right. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, and Attorney Schuler, you're saying, by your recommendation, you want to table the commercial site plan application?
Item number 24 on today's agenda, the commercial site plan application, subparagraph A, 139 West Gulf Beach Drive, which is the property that you just granted the variance application approval for. I'm recommending tabling for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting, which is we do not have the draft dedication agreement prepared for this board's consideration, and that agreement is a material condition of the recommendation for approval from your Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Before we go there, we do have somebody that has a public comment.
I was going to ask if you're going to defer to public
If
comment.
you're tabling it, you don't have to take public comment, but that is at the discretion of the board.
It's on here. She's asked to be able to speak on item 24.
Okay.
If she wants to speak, I want to give her the opportunity.
Okay. I have unmuted her. I'm waiting for her to unmute. There she
Okay.
is, sir.
Barbara Sanders, St. George Island, item number 24. When you review this site plan that is before you, I would like to once again point out that there is already a building on these 4 lots. If you look at the drawing in front of you, it says existing 2-story building. There are already 2 residential units above that. This site plan now shows 4 more units, which is 6 units on 4 lots, a much more intensive use than the fella next door. The applicant is going to put 2 half properties that he shares with the water company and another lot for parking. But again, it's not a net decrease. Your zoning code says under C4 that subdivision of lots is not allowed. Since you're going to table it and send it back, that's on page 82 of what I have, minimum lot size, no minimum requirement for business structures. However, existing lots may not be subdivided. That front structure that's already in existence is under condominium ownership. It's already been subdivided. So in your table of motion, I would ask you to ask your staff to review your zoning code, that provision, to see if you can continually subdivide properties that you've already built on. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barber. All right, there was no other public comment, Commissioners.
Okay. Now can I make a motion
Yes,
to
ma'am.
table it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll
Be
make a
tabled
motion
till the
to table.
17th, the next meeting, assuming that Mr. Schuler and I can get together.
That's the plan.
That's what we were just
Okay.
discussing, Mr. Brown.
Well, I've redrafted the agreement. I think mine's almost the same as his, just a few minor changes.
All right, thank you,
I
Mr.
think we can agree within 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Jean.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, my motion is to table the site plan approval until Mr. Schuler comes back with what he needs to have to recommend us to have approval of it. So-
And I'll second that with comment.
All right, so we have a motion to table by Commissioner Sanders. That motion to table has been seconded by Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Ward, please go ahead.
I have full faith in Bree is going to go back and review and do her due diligence to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So, basically what Ms. Sanders had commented on. Not this Sanders, Ms. Barbara Sanders had said, so.
Are you related?
All right. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It has been tabled.
One thing I do want to bring up, Mr. Chairman, while we still got Bree here, I do follow along the same path of thinking as what Commissioner Ward does. And we need to do something to make that a better situation as far as when it comes to variances. So, can we direct Bree to look at that and see how we can do it to where it won't be so, because people think that this board is discriminating against them, and I'm not gonna have that.
I think we already are, basically. Start talking about using a lawyer to help us with the comp plan and rewrite and kind of look at our history, our policy versus procedure.
Yeah.
We can, our variance language is under the zoning code.
Oh,
so
okay.
kind of
That's
two
different.
separate things, but we can definitely look at it.
You've heard our concerns in here
Yes,
today and everything, and just do that, because like I said, you know, the variances are supposed to be hardship cases. That's the reason why we had the Board of Adjustment for many years, and then we combined the Board of Adjustment and Planning and Zoning. But there is true hardships out there, but then there's some that's not true hardships. So we need to know who is and who isn't, you know, and go from there.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Bree, for everything, and Attorney Schuler. I know these aren't easy applications to go through, and there's a lot that it entails. So thank y'all.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bree, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Attorney Schuler, up to you.
Oh, I can sit down?
No, it's Mike.
Oh, did I skip you? Well, y'all both might.
I have no problem with you guys skipping me.
Yeah, we got business to
You
handle,
can
sir.
automatically approve everything. We're good to go.
Yeah, no, everything you got's written down is discussions.
Well, almost everything. Okay, the first item, Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, is an action item. Basically, there was a slight overage in SHIP as we're reconciling our SHIP program, filing some reports, et cetera. So it's a slight overage on one project, $418.50. Florida Housing always asks that if there's an overage, if it goes above your LHAP strategy cap, that I come to you guys for that overage. The overage is basically inspection and recording fees. I just need your approval to do it, and they will gladly allow us to pay it.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Croom and Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous, 5-0.
Second item, Commissioners, based on your discussion at the last meeting, especially the discussion, I heard what Commissioner Ward said about too many hands involved in code enforcement. So basically what we're going to do is kind of, I hate to say it this way, but step out of the way. So Ms. Sissy Smith will take full control of code enforcement. Staff will stand in the background to support her administratively if she needs letters, you know, a place to type a report, whatever she needs from us, we're there for her. She will be in charge of scheduling all cases that go in front of the magistrate. We will still have her refer or what she considers a zoning to us, because she's still not familiar enough with our zoning ordinances. We will investigate those, present that case. If it needs to go in front of the magistrate, we will present a full case, sit with her, explain to her what's going on, and she will take that to the magistrate. We'll be there to support her on that one, again, until she becomes more familiar with zoning. That's about it. I just kind of want to more inform you of this. I'm going to send a memo to DOH because they did ask for a kind of a breakdown, you know, of what actually the county is responsible for versus what Mrs. Smith is. So I want to make sure you didn't have any input on that, anything additional that I might have missed. And software. So we've kind of split up the duties of looking at software. Commissioner Ward is looking at one. The chairman is looking at another. Angela and I are looking at a couple software. At some point, probably the next meeting, we're going to sit down and bring what we think of the software we reviewed, have a full discussion with the board, and we could decide at that time which way to go forward, which software to use for code enforcement. Because, you know, With Commissioner Ward and I are really linked with the public. We want to make sure the public, you know the rule, less than 3 clicks, they can find out what's going on with any code enforcement case that we have pending, you know, under investigation or waiting to go to the magistrate. You know, others, like, that's where Angela and I do well, because Angela sits and she says, well, you know, we need to make sure that staff, it meets staff requirement to make sure we get the information in there. We can print out, that Sissy can go in there and print out a full case and just hand it to the magistrate and say, hey, here's the case, we're ready to go. So that's where we are. Just kind of checking with you guys to make sure there's nothing else you'd like me to include in my memo to DOH.
No, the memo to DOH I think is fine. I will say, just in a broader discussion that you've already brought up, so as we're having these presentations from these different companies for the software solutions possible, I know the one that I did was recorded, I passed on to you guys. If it's gonna be something the board's gonna discuss, that needs to be forwarded to the rest of the board so they can watch that presentation.
Sure enough.
Whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is, they'll be able to have watched the same presentation that I watched. You know what I mean? That way.
It'll make a discussion easier.
It'll make discussion easier, because right now, if it's good that we're doing it the way we're doing it, I think, because it's a more collective. But at the same time, if the rest of the board doesn't have that knowledge, you're still just asking them to approve for what you think is the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's unfair.
Okay.
They all need to have the same. Everybody needs to have the same information.
And I'll send my video that I have from Comcate to you. You might already have it, Comcate.
I think Sissy sent that to me
Okay,
prior
then
already,
you
yes.
should- yeah.
I'll forward that too.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
The only thing I will say, Michael, did we, and it really has nothing to do with what you're asking, but we're talking about code enforcement. Did we ever issue an iPad or anything like that to help
No,
Ms.
I'm working on that. I actually
Smith do her job?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm kind of, you know me,
Yes.
I'm kind of refreshing
I understand.
slightly
That's
used
fine.
one
Yeah.
to get it working.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
Commissioner Ward's
As
last
long as it
because
works.
she said, even with the cracked screens, I'm out there sending them. I'm trying not to do that anymore.
No, as long as it works though, because the documentation she's taken
Yeah,
needs to be done on a county device.
yes.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
For public records, yeah.
Yes, it
That's,
does.
we'll have
And
to,
to make it more easier for her.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike, I do got one question.
Yes, sir?
Bullet point 1, where it said she would manage the county code enforcement department. When we say that, are we saying like that she's the manager of that department? Or are we talking about like manage the complaints and everything?
Yeah, I would say
Is
she,
that, you see what I'm
It's
saying?
really the complaints, because she's only one person.
yeah.
Okay, so there's nobody else in that department is what I'm getting.
No, Angela and I, we're there for her for administrative purposes, you know, but before we were trying to do it as a partnership, that was slowing down the process, to be very honest with you. So she's the point person. She's the one everybody goes to. She's the one that monitors the case, inputs the information. We're there to support her. Because if she's busy and she needs a notice to go out, she could just email us, hey, I need you guys to send this out, send it out certified mail, taken care of.
Okay, I just needed clarification.
Yes, sir. So to go further, she would be the ones, just like you call any of your directors for the departments, if there's a question with code enforcement, give her a call.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, I'll move on, because I just want to make sure there were no comments. County holidays, did you want to, I sent you guys a draft, did you want to add any to it? You're good with the holiday schedule I gave you?
Mr. Chairman, I'll be honest with you. I think it's only fair. The courthouse closes half a day that the county, y'all should
There'll be a
able
full
to-
day now. The
Oh,
judge
it's a
approved
full
a full
day?
day for them.
I think that they should get what the courthouse gets, because they moved to East Point. They moved out of the courthouse so that they could park for the Seafood Festival. I think it's only fair that we give them that option to still have if they want the whole day off, since the courthouse is
So-
closed.
All county employees, not just the billing department
Yeah.
and admin, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, you got schools that does the same thing for people that work their booths and.
Okay.
So.
That I'll ask for a motion for, because we're actually adding a holiday to the schedule.
I'll make that motion to add the full day for the Seafood Festival.
Friday seafood
I
festival.
second that, the full day.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend this holiday schedule by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Croom. Is there any Additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And Mr. Chairman, really too, the reason why I did that is because we have a lot of our community that has fundraisers for their churches or their schools or whatever. And a lot of these parents that work at the courthouse or are under our county, they have to work all day and then have to go to the booth. So I feel like it gives them the opportunity to do that if they need to or whatever else the case may be.
And at the end of the day, it's where our community is coming together.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Now, I will say a benefit to this that you guys may not realize, now that that street is open, do I need to name it? What is it? Leslie Street is open. The parking lot fundraiser for the seniors or the juniors?
Seniors.
Has become a really big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Now that it's open, I was told after the last seafood that's their biggest fundraiser.
It is,
and it's easy. There's no overhead.
It ain't easy, but yes,
well,
I've done it before.
So I'll say added benefit. This is going to help because before they couldn't take over the parking lot until like 1 in the afternoon because we were still working. Now with all day, so they got 2 full days of that parking lot to a fundraiser.
They did.
That's a school thing, but
I'll say this, having 3 kids in my house that all graduated were seniors, every time we ever did the parking lot, even with the half day, we made more money on the parking lot than we did selling food inside the festival.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And it's and what I said, Mr. Chairman, when it's less work, I meant that when you're out there and you've got a grease and you're trying to cook that food, and you're trying to,
it's less than cooking.
It's like you got 50 people that sign up, say, yeah, I'll help, and then 3 show up.
Well, I can tell you this.
Car's a little bit easier than
if you have a couple of golf carts, it makes parking cars go a lot better. If you're doing it all on foot, that's not the way to do it, I can assure you. Because you're always constantly having to move and see where people have left from so you know where to send people to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated. So it depends on the things you have to do the task with.
So this helps out your seniors also.
Yep.
Okay, we did vote. So, item number 4, Tri-Rivers. The chairman asked at the last meeting, would the board be interested in joining this because he received a letter, a request. Please tell me I scanned the letter.
Don't know, didn't look. I just looked at your report.
I think I will say this, and this is it's on here.
Oh, thank God.
This is the
Alabama
McClellan
group.
Is this a different group?
Alabama group.
So this is different than the riparian stakeholders?
Yes, completely different.
Okay.
This is the group that actually, to clarify your question, Commissioner, this is the group that actually was able to get legislative appropriation to try to return navigational dredging to the river.
Okay.
And it's from Alabama. It's from Senator Tuberville, and I don't remember the name of the other senator. I'm sorry.
Well, as long as we have a seat at this table and it's to benefit our county, I'm all for it.
Yep.
But we need to make sure that we have a seat at that table.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Amerson. Because we have to put a board member on there, don't we? We approve it?
I think so, but yes, we'll get clarification from them, but I believe so.
Verify. So you can make it contingent on that if that's how you want to make the motion.
That's fine.
I'll make that motion.
All right. So we have a motion to approve with a contingency by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion, Commissioners?
I do have a question.
Yes.
The 750, is that yearly?
Yes.
Okay.
So are we just going ahead and adding Commissioner Amerson right now? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Any additional discussion?
He did smile, so okay.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Our Rural Counties Day, that's coming quicker than I thought it would. That's on Wednesday, January 21st. That's the same day as your regular meeting. Are we moving the meeting to Tuesday, the 20th?
I think we already decided that, didn't we?
I think I had a note on my last report that, to make sure to bring it up.
I thought we had decided that last meeting.
Yeah,
You did,
I think
my
we
bad.
did.
Yeah, I
think we
had it in the
did.
Yeah,
calendar.
'cause-
I was
Because I
about to
already
say,
have
I
it in
looked
my
at my
calendar.
calendar,
Okay.
it's already there.
Hey,
And I've
Listen.
already arranged, and we have a workshop that night, just so y'all know.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Listen,
wait, wait,
uh,
wait. Tuesday night?
Have that.
What's that?
at
On
some
the
point,
20th,
The
blighted structure one, yeah,
what?
blighted structure.
the
Yeah, I don't have no workshop of
the
mine.
workshop, when is the workshop in January?
It's at
Oh,
1:30.
law
January the
enforcement.
20th.
The 20th, at what
Okay.
time?
1:30 The-
That level of recall I don't have. January the 20th, I remember.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do.
of the
I
blighted
got it.
structures
Public
at
workshop.
1:30.
In the evening though, right?
No, it's
I'm about
at
to say I don't have it at no
1:30.
different time.
That's right after our county
It's-
commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Workshop at 1:30.
I mean, that's what I have in my calendar.
No, that sounds familiar.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. So let's go on to
Yes.
some
Yeah.
items after that,
Focus.
Mr. Rowe.
So I sent a letter about, Duke Energy every so often, they have these vegetation management programs that they do. This one is coming from the Crawfordville station, going past us right to St. Joe. They sent a letter. I think there's a link on the letter you can go to get more information, including a map, if needed, if you guys need more information. At one time, not to dwell on this, at one time you guys had asked Eric to actually get the information of what they were using, the chemical they were using for the management. We did, it checked out. We haven't asked that in a few years. I just kind of wanted to remind you of that. But, so, that's pretty much it, based on the letter. And of course, the last thing are your next meeting dates.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question. Going back to item number 5, the dates are wrong.
Oh, really?
January 21st is Wednesday and Tuesday is January 22nd. I think he was looking at the 2025 calendar. So
One more time?
Tuesday is January 20th, would be Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Wednesday is January 21st.
Oh,
You have it backwards.
I have
You
it, yes.
yeah, You looked at the wrong date.
I wrote it,
Probably
in the
wrong
body
day.
I did, where the motion has the wrong
Yeah.
dates. Okay.
Just for the public, so they're aware.
So I'm moving it from the 21st to the 20th up. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And then, with that, I want to make sure that we get registered for Legislative Day and Rural
Yes,
County Day.
so Angela is doing that for John at the, in the courtyard. What about the night before, there's some kind of, is anybody planning on
Small
going
County
to that?
Coalition, I plan on going.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I'm probably gonna leave that night after our meeting to go spend the night for Legislative
So-
Day on Wednesday. the
y'all do me a
21st.
favor and email Angela and let her know that you'll be going to the event the night before so she can get you registered. It's at some ballroom,
Is it
not ballroom,
Doak?
event at
Is it
Doak.
Doak Can-
Ballroom is Campbell State.
I'm sorry, I said a ballroom, I'm sorry,
Oh.
Commissioner. Yeah, no, not a bar, no, a ballroom. I meant an event room is what I meant,
A
yes.
ballroom.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
No, not a bar, B-A-R, no.
I was playing.
No, after the last 2 days, I could think about it.
Commissioner Ward,
Yeah.
you referencing the 21st like that, where we go, I guess we had issues last year, correct?
Yes.
About the registration.
Well, no,
Remember, you had to use your card and that same event is what you're talking about, right? They said you wasn't registered.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's why.
That was fact. That was the actual conference. The beforehand, the pre-conference pre-legislative.
Are they still doing that?
Yeah. So that's another thing we need to register for. So,
Yeah.
because Rural Days and the actual fact conference are two separate different
Yes,
things.
They are.
Yes,
Are
they
they
are.
the same day?
No.
Oh,
One's the day before.
fact is when?
Fact is Wednesday, the 21st.
Let me make a note to check on the
Right.
fact conference. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's more than one thing going on. So FAC is trying to utilize the fact that everybody's already going to be there for
Okay.
Rural Counties Day
Mm-hmm.
to do something that they're doing also at the same time.
And that's,
It's gonna be hard to do.
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Have they always done that?
Yeah.
I don't think
Legislative
so.
Day,
My
yeah.
first year they
I
did
think
not.
it's-
My
I think
second
it's
year they
on the
did.
So
kinda-
the Rural Days, if I remember correctly, since I've been on the board, has always been on a Thursday because I could never go because I have
Yeah.
to work that day, and I could never get off. I'd go up there for Legislative Day and have to leave.
It was on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
so
we
they
have to
changed
move
it
the
on
meeting, yeah.
the Wednesdays now. I don't know why they changed it, but I plan on going to both. But are they timed? They're not the same time, are they? I'd have to
No,
do a
they
little.
won't.
No, I'll check the
Needless to
schedule.
say,
I want to do both
Both.
if we can.
So do me a favor, if you guys are planning on attend any of the events, except for the courtyard you walk in when you want, just email Angela so she can get you registered right away. Because I
Okay.
have her looking at that right now, as a matter of fact.
And then,
That's in January.
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
yeah, and Mr. Chairman, in addition to that, we also need to go ahead and put our request in to speak to our senators, our
Yes.
senator and our representative.
Yep.
Because last
Yeah.
year was a bust.
Yeah, it was.
Total bust.
Didn't work,
I
did
felt
it?
like it was a
I'll walk
complete
away from that one.
waste of time.
I
but
hope we don't
anyway.
have to stay at that hotel that cost almost $500 a night.
Not if you do it ahead of time, you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
kind of want you guys to get with
Might be
Angela as
best
soon as
for me to
possible.
drive.
And then on another note,
much.
and I think I did send you an Angela email, I might have just sent it to you, about the, nope, never mind, same one.
Okay.
There's too many conferences in my head right now. I think we're good on that.
Yeah, that fact thing kind of threw me. Okay, I'm sorry. That's it for me.
Okay. Anything else for Mr. Morone?
I had something. What was it? Oh, I know what it was. The Alligator Point Taxpayers Association wanted to do the parade, the golf cart parade down there on the 6th of December, and asked for us to give them permission to use the road that day. Yeah.
Didn't I do
that
that
was last
already?
meeting.
I think you did.
I think I did that already for
Yeah,
them.
but what I'm saying is, because of the rain coming in this weekend, they don't want to do it on Saturday, they want to do it on Sunday. Do they need to do anything
No,
else
just check with the
special?
sheriff. That's it.
Just check with the sheriff. Okay, Miss Teresa, so you know to check with the sheriff.
Yeah. Oh, that's what Miss
She's
Jacobs
up
is there? Okay,
She's
yes,
up there.
yes.
Dr. Teresa, yes. Okay, and then the other, there's something else, and I can't think about it, because I got tickled it when I said.
The bar and ball,
Well,
sorry.
Well, I did that for fun, though, to make everybody laugh.
Is that with me?
I think so.
Benito?
Attorney Schuler, we're up to you.
That'll do it.
Sir, if y'all don't mind me standing, I've been sitting, I need, anyway, my hips hurting a little bit.
Movement, yes, sir, I
Yeah,
understand.
so, first action item is a request that I received from Mr. Kirschenbaum, your airport manager, for the early termination request that he received for one of your hangar leases at the airport. Back in 2007, the board entered into a 20-year lease with a corporation named, I pronounce it CAZ, it's C-A-A-Z, comma, Incorporated. The individual's name is Pete Berger. It's a 20-year lease, so we've got slightly less than 2 years left on the lease. Mr. Berger's son, using power of attorney that his dad gave him, and I have reviewed the power of attorney, I find it to be legally sufficient, has requested early termination of that lease with some conditions. One of the conditions is obviously the termination of the lease early. The other is his dad didn't pay the rent for 2 years, so there's like $3,460 in past due rent that is due to the county, and he is asking for a mutual release. I don't have an issue with the mutual release, provided that the airport manager goes into the building and looks at it and makes sure everything's copacetic. The airport manager tells me he's in favor of this. From what I'm seeing, it looks like a good deal to the airport and to the county, so I would join in his recommendation to terminate the lease early, granted the mutual release, provided the airport manager goes in, looks at the hangar, and makes sure there's not something in there that's causing concern. I'm sure he's already been in there because they're looking at some content donation of an airplane and the contents of the hangar to Haney, so I feel like he's probably been in there, so it was something he would have mentioned it. And then the forgiveness of the debt that's passed due to the county, the financial benefit to the county. Mr. Kirschenbaum tells me he thinks he can rent that hangar for approximately $1,500 to $2,000 a month, and right now it's only gathering $1,560 a year under the current lease. So that's the request for the board.
You do recommend it, though?
Based on the information that's known to me, yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve
Second.
by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any additional discussion, commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That is a 5-0 vote.
Second action item, I received a request from Mr. Donnie Maddox for the board to consider his request that some lands owned by the county be put up for public auction. Some of you may recall that when Mr. Watson was the tax collector, he came to the board a few years ago, requested or recommended that the board go through a process of obtaining title to delinquent tax lands. The board has done so. The specific lands that he's asking for are lots 1 through 16, block 43 in Keogh's second edition in Carabel. So basically, as you're standing at the Tillamook Bridge in Carabel, it's going to be in the far right-hand side of the city of Carabel. If the board were to approve this request, I have put forth a number of conditions that would need to be advertised as conditions of the sale, because we have to tell the public if they're going to bid. These are the conditions of the sale. Essentially, it would say that the county's not paying for any of this. Title insurance, documentary stamp taxes, preparation of the deed. The buyer has to pay all the expenses of the closing. Seller, the county would pay nothing. They need to do their due diligence before they submit any bid to the county. I'm no land surveyor and I'm no wetlands expert, but I know wetlands when I see them on an aerial map, and a lot of them, probably at least half or more of these 16 lots they look wet and unbuildable to me. So essentially, if the board approves this request, there's a public auction process. They would submit bids to the county. They would be open to a county commission meeting. Wouldn't be this year. I'd say if the board approves it, it might be the second meeting in January. We would open up bids. If the board finds that all of the bids are too low, you just reject all the bids and don't accept it. Or if the board doesn't approve the request, then we don't do anything.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
This is in my district, and I'm real versed in it. You remember when we brought this, when Mr. Watson brought this before us, we were looking at keeping that land for in the future for workforce housing, affordable housing. And now that we've got Team Franklin, I would like for it to stay up underneath ownership of the county. And at the time that Team Franklin needs some land, then at that time, do that. I don't think we need to be in the business of selling land. I think we need to do a good project on it. So what I would like to ask Commissioner Ward, since she is on Team Franklin with the affordable housing and the workforce housing, how she feels about it.
I'm okay with that, because we do have our county property up 65 that we're looking at. But I do have a question, though, Attorney Schuler. It says Florida Statute 12535. Is that, and I've reviewed the statute, but I'm no lawyer. So in lawyer, maybe non-lawyer terms.
About non-lawyer.
Non-lawyer terms, do we have to do this?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
So we're not
It's at the board's discretion.
Okay.
It's a request. It was brought to me by Mr. Maddox, for further requests to the board. I'm like, okay, I'll ask the board to see what they want. But no, you don't have to. You're not required to.
I personally don't see a problem with doing that. I just, because this would go under whenever they have the regular auction, right? It's not like a special.
It is, but it's not regular. It would be advertised in the paper. They would submit. It's kind of like we do with bids. We direct them to be sent to the clerk by 4 p.m. on January, whatever date it is before the second meeting in January. We would then open the bids up publicly and read them, and then the board would make a decision.
But then it says we reserve the right to reject all the bids if they're too low. Well, how will we know? Without getting an appraisal on the property, how much we know it's going to be?
That's why I included the property appraiser's market value in my report. He says $88,000.
For all 16 lots?
That's what it says, yes.
But that's property appraiser. That's not.
Yeah,
that's probably.
That's the reason why.
Today, you could set a minimum today. That's entirely up to
That's why I would say we don't want to consider it.
I'm fine with what Commissioner Sanders is saying. My only thing would be, if we were gonna ever do something like this, the only reason the county has this in their possession is because of unpaid tax debt.
That's correct.
So, there's no way at all I would ever want to consider, even as a bid, that it should at least cover that whatever that tax debt was. 'Cause
Like a lien?
that's how we come up.
Yeah,
Come
I
about
do
it.
not know, as we stand here this
Yeah.
not this afternoon.
Yeah.
I do not know what the total amount of delinquent
Okay.
taxes are. I have, knowing the property, I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Okay. But what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question. That's within the city limits, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see some houses on it or something one day.
Well,
I'm-
the only thing, and I may be wrong though, is then you start getting into what the city allows, and you know, it ain't really like our.
Well,
we
the
can
city of
control it.
Carabel, the city of Carabel and this board has always worked good together.
Well, I agree. I do.
And that is it, and that's the reason why I said, I would just like to keep it in the county ownership until the time that we have some kind of a project that we need it for. Or maybe the city of Carabel will approach us and say, hey, we've got a housing development, you know, workforce housing development, because they're working on stuff like that too.
But anyway, I'm gonna make a motion that we, do not consider Mr. Maddox's request.
Okay, so there's a motion to deny this request from Commissioner Sanders,
Second.
second from Commissioner Ward. Any additional discussion?
Given the statement, given the reasons I stated.
All right, any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous, 5-0.
And those were my only two action items for the board today.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Attorney Schuler?
No, but I do have a statement, Mr. Chairman, at our
Okay.
conference we had back, however many weeks ago. I do want the board to know that we presented policy
Yes.
based on the Burt Harris Act claim that we
Yes.
have. And I just want the board to know that the Finance, Tax, and Administration Committee that it was under, I don't know why it was under that, but anyway, it was approved to proceed to the next level. So it will
Yes.
go to the legislature for their approval.
Awesome.
Or denial, whatever.
It had support from the Association of Counties. Anyone else? All right. Commissioner comments, I'm sorry. I forgot what's on the agenda. Any commissioner comments?
I have one
You gotta
thing.
slow down today.
I'm telling you, man.
He's ready to get back to that new job.
I just got
No.
one quick thing to update the board on. You remember, I think last meeting I spoke about, when I had my directors meeting about class or for our county staff and
Yes.
everyone. I did speak with Denise at FACT,
Yes.
and that is exactly what she do. She actually go to different counties. She do Jackson and Calhoun.
Yes.
And go to their counties and deal with their employees and have
Okay.
a class. So I want to let you know I did have that conversation. She's supposed to follow back up with me.
Okay. That was Denise Vogelsang?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, that would be good. Yeah, and I can say, the benefit that all the commissions in the state of Florida have from being involved with FACT is unmeasurable. You have a chance to get exposed to all the different areas you're going to come in contact with, not just for the commission, but for county employees. And that is something they've started in recent years. I'm currently one of your representatives on the ICG Board of Directors, the people that does the educational piece. So in recent years, we've started doing stuff for, well, it's been happening for a while now for county attorneys. There's stuff for county managers. There's stuff for road engineers or superintendents. And this newest piece is for actual county staff. Customer service, all this kind of stuff. So it's not meant to be intrusive. It's meant to be another tool for the county to do its very best to represent the citizens that it serves. So thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for asking Ms. Denise about that. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I took the liberty to text all of y'all earlier and gave y'all that, it was that flyer that gives the dates for the FWC signups and all.
Yes, okay.
So if y'all can just disperse that as
Okay.
best you can. And one other thing, in light of last night's public hearing, just some thought for all of us going forward here. I know I've been told that Alligator Point is intrigued about the special zoning districts. We need to start kind of either moving forward in certain areas with that or not. I think that's the next leg in this journey. And we just, I think that'd be our best approach. So y'all keep that in mind and enjoy your next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, just one thing, just to follow up on Commissioner Amison. I brought the fact of the zoning, I think I've already mentioned it, but I'm gonna bring it again, of the zoning, special zoning for Alligator Point to the folks of Alligator Point at the last APTA meeting, Alligator Point Taxpayers Association meeting. And they wanted to see what came out of last night's meeting before they wanted to say when they wanted a town hall or anything like this. And some of them don't even believe we need a town hall. So I will reapproach the folks again in the near future and then bring it back to the board of what they would like to have. But we're doing good. And I hope every one of you go by Lanark and see the EMS unit out there. It is absolutely, the pictures don't show it justice. It's just a good thing for all of Franklin County. Just the beginning.
Yep. Any other commissioner comments? All right, we're adjourned.